It says starting. It's orange. It says live. We're live.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Hi.
Right. 0 people watching, but that's okay.
They'll trickle on in.
Starting. And we're gonna have Crypto Weekly over here with my cup of green tea.
Oh yeah. Hi.
Right. 0 people watching. Lots to talk about
Yeah,
for sure.
I got a Müllermilch for today. My
got-
sponsor is Müllermilch today. Feel the cow.
Miller milk.
Müllermilch.
That's a
Mule milk.
muscle milk. Huh?
Mule milk.
Chocolate.
Ah man, dude.
Yeah,
Mule
if
milk.
Huh?
I got kicked out of my Coca-Cola contract, so I downgraded to Müllermilch.
Ah man, dude, kicking out of that. Yeah, man, my Coca-Cola
Yeah,
contract is
crypto's
up
hot.
and down and up and down, just like crypto, man. I keep switching over to RC Cola, you know, that Royal Crown Cola, and they don't like it, man.
Dude, that Royal Crown is a little I don't know, something about it.
It's
okay.
pretty good. It's nice to have once in a while. It's nice to grab it once in
Yeah.
a while. Anyway, guys, welcome to the Crypto Podcast, episode number 4. We got, in case you guys didn't know, on the far left there, we got Goose-Tech. He's got a YouTube channel. His description and the social media stuff like that in the description. And then we got Meep as well. Meep,
Hi.
what's going on, man? How you guys all doing today in the chat? Oh, we got some pouring in. They're pouring in, but
Good.
So,
Same
oh man, did you guys see the pump today? Did you guys see the?
Yeah, we should talk about that.
I just noticed. Yeah.
It's oh man, let me do a little refresh on CoinMarketCap
let's
here.
check the
8%. Litecoin 20.
666.
So it was only a 10 billion pump, but it's just amazing. It's just like today, like hey, like why not today? And Litecoin was pumping, I think, more because of the whole Mimblewimble announcement, their privacy announcement. Yeah. Oh man, I'm trying to get full screen here.
Yeah, I'll pull mine up too for everybody so we can take a look at and this is just on CoinMarketCap, but it's I'll do a 7-day chart here. And one of these little jobbies, kabam. All right, so little hockey stick here happening, huh? You want one of your favorite charts is happening right here, MrSotko, with the hockey stick. And like you said, not a huge amount of change here, but all at once, which is very interesting, especially at the end of the week.
Yeah, it's a big pump.
There's lots to cover, lots of possible reasons for this, right?
I mean, like you could see that like Bitcoin was just like a wall, so it's just like clearly somebody bought like $10 million of it or something over the counter, or, like from various exchanges. So there's just so much manipulation like going on, and it's weird that it's always at the same time too. It's just always all at once. And it's really just dragging the money away from everybody because not everybody knows to sell at the point. Only the people that are manipulating it know when to sell and to buy at the same time. So it's really really tragic how much like they're taking away, and like no wonder like the prices aren't going up because nobody has any money left. They end up buying into the pump and then it dumps on them every time.
That's so funny how that works too. There must be a ton of bots too that automatically just start buying.
Yeah, that's like in the stock market too.
Yeah,
The stock market has had bots since I don't know the late 70s or 80s. And the thing is about the stock market, actually, you know what happened? I have a perfect example of that too. When after Trump was elected, you remember like it was a good few months, I don't know, maybe 6 months. I can't remember the exact timeline, but the Dow went to 25,000 and everybody was all pumped about that. The Dow was going up to 25,000. And then in one day it rocked to like 17,000. And what that is like there's a little dip in the stock market. And if it's a pretty big dip, I guess, all the trading bots in the stock market don't know that this is just just a fluke dip, that it's going to keep going back up and it's not a big deal. But the bots don't know that. And so all the bots start selling off, and that triggers all the other bots, and so on and so on. Then it starts falling until people stop that. So a lot of times it's bots that actually cause like these pumps and dumps, because like they're programmed to like, okay, like it fell 10%, sell. And like so everybody else's bot starts to do that. So that's kind of a problem. Zell is going up. Yeah, everything's going up right now. There's a big pump. So another thing too is, sorry guys.
Talking about the technical analysis of this, do you think it will be a Bart Simpson again?
That's a good question. Probably.
MrSotko called this Bart Simpson, the drawing that the chart makes. So this very straight line up and zigzag, and then a very straight line down again. Yes,
yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Did you say I made that? No, I definitely didn't make that. I didn't coin that for sure. That's just a thing that's been going on for a while, like the name.
Oh
of it,
yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like Bart Simpson's
It does look
hair.
like that. No, and I read somebody's really good analytics on that. I read somebody's analysis, their theory of that. And the reason why you get a Bart Simpson like that is because, like, say you're a whale and you buy in. And people wonder, like, okay, so if you have millions of dollars, because you can go on GDAX or an exchange and look at the depth chart, and you can scale back to see how much $1 million would affect the market. You really can. Like $1 million would bring it up $30 or $80 or $100, like Bitcoin. Like you could do that with a depth chart, right? So people wonder, like, hey, like if you put $10 million into these exchanges, the price is going to go up. It's just going to wall right up. And people wonder, like, how are you going to make money from that? Because if it just goes straight up and then later it goes down, what was the point? Like, where did you sell? Like, you're the one that brought that up. And what it is that they like to buy it on an exchange so that it goes up, millions of dollars of it. Then you wait while Bart Simpson's out. Then you wait. And if it's clearly not going to go up, then you go on to an exchange where you can short it. And then you short it, like a ton of it. And then when it starts to go down, that's where you make all your money. So you're actually evaluating during that Bart Simpson if it's going to go up to long it or to go down to short it. Yep. And so during that time, you're just evaluating if it's going to go up or down. And that's why you see like a pump and then it just goes straight and then down from there. It's because they just basically liquidate what they had. And they end up getting a lot more because they had a lot of leverage and essentially a loan.
Yeah, and BitMEX is the tool for that.
Yeah,
I told you that earlier today. We were in the chat, and I was like, everybody's on BitMEX. It's like all these TA guys, you know, they have their gambling addiction, and they're all like, we got to get into BitMEX and short this and long that and blah blah blah, you know. And it's like, man, that's some very risky business, depending on what amounts you're dealing with.
100x and you don't get it, it doesn't work out for you. Toast.
Oh man,
your money's gone. Across the board. Across the board, Robert Klassen says, I don't know, is that what context is that question in the chat there? I'm sorry. Hey, Mad Mel, thanks for subscribing.
Random
Twitch
across
Prime,
the board.
Appreciate it. So I kind of wanted to talk about Meep and like what you're mining with your rigs lately too. So we can get to that.
Yes.
You know.
What are we mining lately, Mr. Whale?
Yeah, it is. Guys, there's just shit to mine overall. So my AMD cards are still on Ethereum, not because it's the most profitable. Maybe Beam could be a little bit better for now, but Ethereum is just more stable, and we would like to hodl some of Ethereum for proof of stake. So we got some hopes staking it later, and so just keep it on, keep it mining. And it's barely, so we can barely pay our electricity, so it is profitable to still mine Ethereum, but it makes no fun. There is no real profit to pay out the hardware or anything else. But it still makes sense to keep on mining. It's more than it's quite more than electricity, and we can pay most of the maintenance. Almost all.
Well, hey, that's good to hear. At least you're still making enough that you can justify leaving them up.
It is still possible, but it needed wonders. So all the experience we got after 1 or 2 years of mining, so that means ridiculous overclocking. So my best on Ethereum with my RX 470 cards was in the beginning 26, later 27, 28, and now we reached up to 33, even with reducing power. With other people
mega hash,
and yeah, 33 mega hash. So we reached the very maximum we could do to survive in that way. And the other side, the green team, NVIDIA cards, they were on Gwyn, and we were very lucky with Gwyn because we sold our bag on $10 or $11 per coin.
Oh, nice, yeah.
That was a lucky, that was a lucky sell. So, and after NiceHash overtook Gwyn and it came into Gwyn, we left Gwyn and moved over to Beam.
You know what? NiceHash Legacy has a Beam miner.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But anyway, Beam is quite a bit better than Gwyn for us now.
For profitability? That's interesting.
For the profitability.
Probably because just so many people are mining Gwyn right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of want to...
And sorry, Gwyn took a heavy dive on the market. I don't trust Gwyn. Maybe some of the people here saw your video about Gwyn developers. It's even worse. So it's nothing for us to
I saw that video. That was good.
Yeah, it's just a mine and dump coin, totally, 100%. So after all, we preferred to keep on Beam for the moment.
Of course, it's just a mine and dump coin. The developers didn't get what they wanted, what they felt they deserved.
It was just so
therefore, why would they develop any more? Who cares?
Keep it to yourself, man.
We
didn't get 55,000 euros.
Get the violin, huh?
Somebody made a meme of my violin, and they posted it to the Discord. That was kind of funny. But the Gwyn, they're like, oh yeah, you know, if we don't get 55,000 euros, like we can't quit our day job. Yeah, me too. You know, like, what? Where's where's all of our 55,000? Where's Goose's 55,000 euros so we can quit his day job? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, nice. Like, there are developers, so they're producing something very useful, you know, but, like, jeez, man, it's just like... Dude, plus, they got a lot of developers, and like, where were these VCs? There was all this hype of these VC investors, you know, venture capitalists coming in to Gwyn and providing money, and then it's like, you know, they weren't even counting all the Bitcoin and Ethereum that they got, the tens of thousands of euro in Bitcoin and stuff like that they got. I just couldn't help myself on that one. But Robert, I want to answer this question, which wasn't really much of a question, to be totally honest, but you said across the board, question mark, and then prices are going up across the board. Well, so nobody can explain. Here's the thing, is that nobody has a really good explanation of all this market manipulation, where there's these clear as day, like you could just go look at the charts. It's just like this. It's a wall. This is organic growth. You know what I mean? Whatever. See this little organic growth, right? We all know it. And then there's like a wall where somebody clearly bought millions of dollars of it at once and raised the price, and then are probably manipulating it further from there. But the idea is that all exchanges have pairing, BTC to Ethereum, BTC to Litecoin, BTC to whatever, pairing. And a lot of exchanges do that so they can get away from the US dollar or euro, because then they have to go through banking, then they have to go through all these like legal measures. It's just more paperwork. It's harder for them to do that, and more exchanges are doing that, like Binance now and Coinbase and Kraken, etc. But a lot of the smaller ones don't do that because the legal loopholes you got to go through for people to cash out in US dollars too much. So we have this weird, unprecedented system in terms of investing in exchanges, right? Where if Bitcoin triples, that means that the individual Satoshi tripled, right? Like, let's say Bitcoin goes from $3,000 to $9,000. I know, kind of crazy, but it's happened before. Now the individual Satoshi is worth 3 times as much. So if you're trading a coin that's worth 50 Satoshi, and now the individual Satoshi is worth 3 times as much. Theoretically, that coin is now kind of worth 3 times as much. However, I can't explain the fact that Bitcoin went up 10%, but Litecoin went up 30%, and Monero went up 14%, and this coin went down this much. Like, that I can't explain. That's just individual people, you know, or people excited for the privacy of Litecoin, I guess, which I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but... So that's kind of how it is, because that's not like that in traditional investments. That's not like that. I mean, you don't have like Microsoft to Apple on an exchange, right? Because that means if Microsoft goes up in value, then Apple inherently goes up in value, because now you're pairing them together. That makes no sense. Like, what if Apple went bankrupt and now you're propping up Apple because of Microsoft stock? That makes no sense. You know what I mean? So that's what we have in crypto.
The problem with all the BTC pairings is pretty much every coin out there has a BTC pairing. And if it weren't for that one point of entry, right, that one on-ramp, because it's really the only way you can get most coins unless you mine them.
Yeah, exactly. Especially some of the more vague ones, you know, like a new coin comes out like Veilcoin or Grin, right? There is no US dollar pairing on any exchanges for that. You have to buy it in Bitcoin. Exactly.
Yeah. And then for them to, so this is another thing that's odd to me, but like when you use something like CoinMarketCap, you see all of the coins listed with respect to the US dollar, but it's with respect to USD via BTC, because that's really where the main pairing is that the only way that we can get to US dollar values on CoinMarketCap is through the Bitcoin pairings for all of the coin. So that's another connection that would kind of explain
now you're
why
connecting
they all
it
go
to,
up.
So
I would also add that with that 3-time markup, as it were, right? You know, the Satoshi value goes higher. It's also indicative of the fact that now your buying power is 3 times stronger. So the people who realize that, and this could just be bot driven, okay? Where the bots are programmed to pick up a certain amount of whatever coin whenever available, either when the price of BTC goes up and the buying power is stronger, or when the price of the actual coin drops down to a certain threshold, and then it buys, you know, a similar amount. So it's got like 2 triggers. You know, one trigger on the high end, BTC went up. Oh, great! Now our buying power is more strong against that pairing, so I can pick up more coins. And then vice versa, like on the downswing, well, I can pick up more coins because the value of said coin dropped. That makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that Bitcoin is paired with everything, because how else would you buy it? But I would like, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. But I'd like to see a world for a month, for a year, I don't know, without any pairing. What would happen? You know what I mean? Some coins would die. They would just, because like some coins are only paired with Bitcoin. Only paired. There's no US dollar pairing for like Veil or Grin or some of these new coins, right? So they would have no theoretical value until they got good enough to be put on some of these bigger exchanges. Yet at the same time, you know, then those big exchanges are just charged like $1 million for you to put your coin on, and then it becomes kind of a rat race of money at that point. But I'd like to see which coins survive without riding on the value of the Satoshi, you know, because Bitcoin came along first, and, you know, then it came to US dollar pairing, and then Litecoin and stuff to Bitcoin, and it's kind of weird. I'd like to see what would happen. It'd be really interesting to see what would happen to the market cap. It'd probably all go back into Bitcoin for the most part, and a lot of coins that honestly maybe need abandoning would be abandoned because they wouldn't have any value. It would just immediately strip their value.
They'd have to just cut ties on whatever.
80% will die immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Motorcycles Vancouver. Oh, I would like to say hello. I know his channel. He is into FPGAs quite well. And I appreciate that he is here. He wrote, Ethereum is adopting the privacy functions from Zcash. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, so Litecoin announced the privacy features that they're thinking about putting in. They're only announcing the fact that they were thinking about doing it, so everyone is just riding on the Litecoin train right now. But I think that'll get a lot more validity to Litecoin. Again, as much as I like Litecoin, I feel like every day Litecoin kind of gets. I know there's a big argument against it. I know, and I don't mean to sound like a Bitcoin maximalist or anything like that or a hater, but like eventually, you know, with Bitcoin being so low in fees and stuff, like what's the point of Litecoin? You know, for a while there, Litecoin was definitely the go-to source. I mean, like when I was mining, I would convert to Litecoin in order to send it, you know, and not to Bitcoin because this is too much fees, right? So Litecoin was the choice to use. And now there's so many other ones. I mean, hell, like Nano, like nobody talks about Nano, and Nano has its problems, but like Nano is just the fastest, lowest cost coin there is, and nobody cares about that. You know, like there's nobody seems to care about that. So, you know, I wonder what people do care about eventually. Wonder what the crypto world will look like eventually. But I think, you know, I think adding privacy to Litecoin, I agree. It would add more, you know, stop mining for non-existing profits and push adoption. Yeah, mining has its problems. Mining does have its problems because, you know, when you start mining, when a coin first comes out, what happens is that you end up getting all the coin. Like you get a massive amount of the coin. And not only are the whale miners getting that coin first, you know, especially like the day it comes out kind of thing when the difficulty is insanely low. You know, they're getting all the coin. So then you have these people that have like this insane amount of coin, and it doesn't have any value yet. It's not on an exchange. And then when it goes to an exchange, not only do the whales have like the majority portion, and I don't mean to give a negative connotation to any kind of whale miners, but you know, they take all the coin, it's objective, and then the mining pool itself gets a lot of the coin because they're getting all of the rewards. They're getting all those little micro amounts of people withdrawing and mining to it. And so you basically have these two people now. You have the mining pool itself, and then, you know, the very first people. And then as soon as it goes on to an exchange, the price dumps because they're just dumping their profits as soon as it hits, a lot of the time. And then that makes the coin look bad. That makes the project look bad. It really does, because like when you see a coin start off at 30 cents and then it goes down to 10 cents, that looks bad, right? You don't want to invest into that. You don't want to mine into that now. Like it's like a psychological barrier for you now, and it's difficult. So stop mining for non-existent profits.
Look at the Grin chart, right? The Grin chart starts, and the coin is somewhere around $14.50, and then it just tanks. Now it's sitting somewhere around almost little less than $4.
What, Grin?
Yeah. I mean, all coins do that though. I mean, they launch at a much higher price, and then because all the miners sell their bags or whatever, and that's the end of it.
And the problem is that a lot of these new developers don't do proper marketing, right? Because you have these coins, and let's just call them all basically the same, like Monero, Veil, Grin, Beam, other privacy coins. Throw them all in one basket, right? Because to the individual person, it doesn't really matter so much what the tech is, right? Because like as long as my transaction is private, that's why I'm using this, right? So Monero's been around the longest, so why not use Monero? It's you know what I mean? It's like if Grin marketed the most, and they're now the biggest like privacy coin, at least currently, like the most hype, because they're marketed, right? And Veil isn't marketed, and they could easily be bigger than Veil. Why not, right? But they just didn't market. So now the coin dumps, they don't do any marketing, and then nobody wants to touch it after that, and everybody's waiting for a new coin to mine so that they can dump that coin, so you can mine a new coin so you can dump that coin. But there's losers in that every time. There's losers in that every time, and eventually the losers get knocked out. Boom, 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 and eventually there's not going to be enough losers to go around, you know? What's up, Zoot?
Well, there's interesting questions that are popping up in the chat. This one could be for Meep, because you had just mentioned that your mining Ethereum still seems to be profitable enough to justify leaving the rigs on and all that. Somebody wanted to know, would you say that Ethereum is a good investment, and will the price go up?
Okay, disclaimer, no financial advice. Do your own researches.
Obviously,
but yes.
That goes for all of us.
In my opinion, yes. There's only shit to mine. So why should I hodl Gwen? We just talked about. It does not take a week till the developer runs out that he wants to have some money. I call this very bad marketing, so I agree. So what to do? And yes, Ethereum still is the second biggest coin. Not in market capitalization for right now. Sotko, I think Ripple is number 2 now, but Ethereum is important. It has a big place, and proof of stake is interesting. So when Ethereum will move over to proof of stake, and one is for sure, it will be harder to mine Ethereum. To be exact, we hope for proof for ProgPow that we can mine Ethereum for maybe little time, more profitable on GPUs, but the block reward is getting lowered, and it will be getting harder to gain Ethereum.
Yeah.
But to complete my opinion, on the long run, Ethereum is not my preferred solution. So I don't think I would hold Ethereum for a very long.
Okay, so
I think
it's not a long-term hodl for you.
Yeah, I think I would ask MrSotko if I got it right. Ethereum is endless. It is not a limited coin.
Right.
No, no. It didn't have. I think they were thinking of adding a cap to it, but it's not. No, that
is just one killer edge. This is just a red flag for me to say, oh, it's a coin I want to hold on for 10 years or so. But for now and the next future, let's say for 1, 2, 3 years, yes, very interesting. But in any case, we hold at least 50% in Bitcoin. That's the goal. So Bitcoin will be the number 1.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's gonna be hard to beat Bitcoin, especially considering, like I said, like I've said 100 times, it's the brand name of crypto, and it's hard to beat a brand name. It's hard to beat the brand name out of people's minds. You know, it's the first thing you talk about. If you're trying to tell anybody new about cryptocurrency, what's the first thing you talk about? Nano, Vertcoin. Like, what's the first thing you talk about? It's Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin is what you, and then that drills it into somebody's head. Bitcoin institutions, Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin-backed futures, Bitcoin, institutionalization, Bitcoin Wall Street, Bitcoin, and like it just gets it in your head. But in reality, interestingly enough, Bitcoin is one of the worst currency coins. It really is. It's hard to say that. It's horrible to say that, but it's one of the worst currency coins.
I disagree.
It's getting better though.
For now, the questions like how secure is my coin is very important for me as miner if I hold it.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin is out of the fire in my viewpoint regarding to America, what they said about Bitcoin. It is not a company, and Ethereum is. It's owned by Vitalik Buterin, or it's somehow an ICO, and not all questions are answered on this. But and Bitcoin,
I agree.
I think Bitcoin will be free. And the second one, who is supposed to be out of the fire, is just Ethereum.
Yeah. No, you're right in that, because there is no Bitcoin other than Blockstream. Blockstream, you could, but there is no real overhead.
Yeah, and now talk about the long-term holding of coins. I think there will be a crypto winter at one point when regulation will come in and will hit in. And it may be, or maybe not, could be that all ICOs are in danger. Can or cannot be.
Yeah.
So I prefer to stick on Bitcoin for at least 50% to be safe with that. That's a strong attribute.
Absolutely. In that case, the technicals of Bitcoin are amazing. Not gonna lie. So don't take what I said there against the technicals of Bitcoin necessarily, like the sense of security And the fact that it's been around the longest, that's great. The security, that's great. The fact that it's a brand name, that's great. The fact that there's a lot of institutions and a lot of payment systems that are accepting Bitcoin, or at least being a middleman for transmitting Bitcoin. So everything around the crypto tech, I feel, is really, really centered towards Bitcoin, and that's good. And like I said in a video I made yesterday, I showed a real quick chart of the Bitcoin transactions versus the Bitcoin fees, and it was like the fees above it and the transactions below it, or whatever, or vice versa. I can't remember. But the all-time high of transactions was January 2017. No, January 2018, and that's when the fees were the highest too, or at least approximate the highest fees. I mean, we were looking at like $50 average fees, $55 average fees, and of course that's average for people moving $1 million or people moving $10. So an average is an average. But and now 1 year later, well, it's February, but January was relatively close, very close to being the all-time high back a year before that, and then but the fees were nowhere close, not even remotely close. And I read, and I really liked the explanation that they basically had, and that one, it was wallets weren't like sending properly. They were communicating the fees poorly back then. They basically batched the fees poorly, and you know, and then the second one was that exchanges themselves weren't batching properly. They were just like sending transactions wildly. And if you send a small $10 transaction and you don't batch it with a bunch of other ones, bam, that's a big fee right there. Now, because you got this fee behind that fee and a fee, instead of batching them together. I mean, hell, Visa and MasterCard do that. At the end of the day, they batch a bunch of like every hour or so, they batch a bunch of them and send them and stuff, like banks and stuff. So it just makes sense. This is what you do. It's more efficient. And then the third explanation was that there was a bunch of malicious actors in January 2018 raising the fees, and was basically Bitmain, because what they were doing was spamming the Bitcoin network with a bunch of tiny little transactions, which would have costed them a lot of money to do that, right? To raise the fees to make Bitcoin Cash look better. But since they are a majority miner, since they virtually have, we can basically realistically say they pretty much have the most hash rate in the world, just themselves, they are able to process the majority of those transactions themselves and then get those fees back, because they're miners, and miners get those fees back in terms of the rewards of Bitcoin. So they're producing all these rewards and getting them back by mining themselves and spamming the Bitcoin network. I mean, you could just take one wallet and another wallet, and if you had a ton of Bitcoin and a ton of hash power, you could just send a bunch of tiny little transactions just constantly, just like little bits, 10 cents, whatever, just of Bitcoin, just back and forth. And that's going to raise the fees and fill up the blocks, especially, when everyone else in the world is using it at the time. And
all right. Well,
so those were some of the reasons that the fees were so high back then. Because not just because everyone was using it, because everyone's using it just the same today. So that makes no sense. So it's SegWit and Lightning Network, and the fact that exchanges are batching better, wallets are better at estimating the fees, and of course there's no Bitmain basically trying to destroy Bitcoin in order for Bitcoin Cash, which is just, God, it's so horrible. It's good. Bitcoin Cash is so horrible. It's just a stain on the crypto community. I can't. God, it's such a joke, man.
Well, since we're talking about NiceHash and mining and what have you, I came across an article that says, in a recent analysis, more than 85% of the current Monero hash rate is ASIC. Each machine doing about 128 kilohash per second, which has to be Bitmain, right? I mean, they've got something out there already on the new crypto.
Oh, on the new algorithm you're talking about. Yeah, because I was just about to say, are you sure that's not the old ones that were on V7 or whatever?
I think it is. I think that was, but this article came out yesterday, and I think that's part of the reason why they're doing the switch. So basically, what they were trying to do, it's like this: they can prove it by analyzing what's going on. Like you said, all those microtransactions, the same thing is happening here. And they actually have a really nice chart here that shows you one of these areas that has a ton of tiny little transactions. So basically what the article says is that on the chart, you can see the nonce distribution over time. So in theory, the nonce distribution should be a random number between 1 and 2 to the 32nd power. On the very left from block 1.5 million all the way over to 1.546, you can see these thick white stripes along the whole nonce range. So they were that's how they were able to confirm that those were ASICs running on the network. So they have a really cool chart that like actually shows you all of that.
So
like,
new ASICs, not the V7 ones that Bitmain made, because all those algorithms
last year's
the old algorithms
ASICs
of Monero
were to get the last year's ASICs were the reason why Monero forked anyway.
Sure, yeah.
So they went to V7 to get away from that. Well, they produced something that worked on V7. So now we're up to V8. So
jeez, what a terrible industry.
It's a never ending. It's like a
could
never
be
ending.
FPGAs as well.
Could be FPGAs. Could be.
No, I mean they're saying, well, I mean maybe, but they're saying that it's ASICs, at least in this article.
Yeah. If it's 95%, I believe, yeah. But isn't Bitmain almost dead?
They were having troubles. I doubt they're dead, considering they had like a million Bitcoin cash. Problems. I mean, that's billions of dollars, but they were having big problems. Yeah, they made Jihan Wu sort of step down and be a co-chair along with another CEO who was going to invest more in AI, something like that. That I read.
Buy AMD if you want AI. That's
where's
that's their focus.
Where's Chris walking today, ma'am?
Oh, I'm here. You just gotta ask. I come whenever you ask.
Actors.
Yeah. You can just turn it on a dime.
That's okay.
Like a faucet, I switch it on like a light switch thing.
Yeah, you gotta have that perfect, like, I switch it on. You know what I mean? You gotta have that, like, that weird in between. Oh, man.
Do you know why if somebody asked him why he has those awkward pauses and like sort of the cadence of the way he speaks, you know the answer that he gave them? It actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh, wow. It actually made sense? Okay. Christopher Walken is
you wouldn't
supposed
expect
to.
it,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But here's the true rational reason why. He said when he was a kid growing up in New York, and I don't know if he lived in Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx. Right. I don't know where he lived, but wherever it was, there were a lot of non-English speakers there. And the non-English speakers would generally pause when they're trying to think of the English word.
Sure.
So they themselves had a strange cadence when they were trying to talk to him. And so he just kind of, as a kid, picked it up and it stuck. It's a very interesting kind of rational reason why. I mean, I'm sure you were thinking it was marsupials.
Because they're fast.
But no, because they're fast.
Oh, it's good. One person says, too good. Oh, man. LOL. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, we having fun here with Chris Walken. You got me all wrong. I watched that scene. You sent me a video of that Joe Dirt scene when he was the janitor under the Witness Protection Agency. You know, and
have you never seen Joe Dirt?
Oh, that's a great movie. Yeah.
Or
I guess
it puts the lotion on the skin, or it gets the hose again. All right, already, all right. So funny,
oh man, this guy's trying to sell a 57 blah 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 for, I'll give him 300 at best. Auto Trader magazine. Oh man. No, we're just talking about Meep. We're talking about the movie Joe Dirt, and in that movie
Joe Dirt. Yeah, okay.
Chris Walken is a janitor in the Witness Protection Program, and he's just mopping along one time, and he just throws his mop down. It's like, you're talking to me all wrong, just hitting this like fire extinguisher, stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be a vicious attack. Soldering iron to your face. Ooh man. Ooh.
Oh, like that. Only if it's plugged in.
Only if it's plugged in, yeah. Then you just
otherwise
then it cauterizes.
It doesn't burn.
Yeah.
there's not enough burn in a soldering iron unless it's on.
Right.
You gotta plug it in, turn it up.
What about XRP? Not that I like it. I don't know. What do you mean about what about XRP, Potato? XRP, man, is just.
Do we have a visitor?
What's up, dudes?
What's going on, Platypus?
I'm not gonna be able to do video, but I can talk.
All right.
You got all kinds of terrible sights going on in the background.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna disappear randomly here and there. I got 2 out of 3 are asleep.
You got what?
But
two out of three of the children.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
But unfortunately, the worst one is awake. So yeah.
Okay.
Lucky you, man. What are you up to?
I want this out.
I was just we had therapy there and just got done with that. So
got back in, but made it late, man. Better late than never, I suppose.
I guess so, huh? Yeah.
So Platypus and I, we've been kind of pooling a little bit of Veil coin to try and proof of stake it.
Crossing my fingers.
And so I just bought a quick 1,000 of them the other day, and slapped them in my wallet.
No. There was nothing quick about you buying that 1,000.
Oh yeah, there was nothing quick about that. Never mind. I was raging. I was raging over their 2FA process. Man, dude.
Can't believe they even have 2FA.
That exchange, man, is from like Singapore, dude.
Literally, the exchange says
this
should be considered high risk. It literally says it.
Yeah, it literally says it on the exchange. Anyway, so I bought 1,000. I bought a quick 1,000.
Yeah.
It was quick.
Quick as in we bought it and we got the hell out of there.
And I got a stake out of it. It's 50 Veil, like 50 Veil for a stake. That's not bad. Like if you get those consistently, 50 Veil is. It takes you a good while to mine 50 Veil. And
it takes.
Then I took my laptop and put a new wallet on it. And Platypus and I we all put our Veil on there. We're trying to stake it. So far we got one fake stake. We got an orphan,
but whatever, man.
I got an orphan. So
is that because the processor on your laptop's not so hot, or?
No, dude, it's good. So that's the thing, man. I'm hoping that my laptop is good enough because my laptop has a Hold on, I'll tell you what it is. It's an i7, a 3rd generation. But I mean. Like how fast of a processor would you need? It's a 3630 QM, so it's a quad core at 2.4 with the whole wannabe turbo boosting kind of deal. But it's no joke, you know what I mean? Like it's not like it's an old Celeron.
Should be enough for a wallet. Anyway.
We're not talking about a Core 2 Duo here.
Oh, is the Core 2 Duo finally dead?
Did it die yet?
I hope it finally died.
Apparently, yeah. No.
Finally.
I think that the problem with Core 2 Duo is that you got to use DDR2, and you can't get a whole lot out of it.
Wait, the Core 2 Duo though wasn't
that one
bad.
Was that the bad one?
Dual core. It was the Intel dual core when they first came out. Those were the Core 2 Duo wasn't bad. Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's what happened. So like there was the age of the one. There was the age of the Pentium 4.
Maybe I'm getting mixed up.
And the Pentium 4 when it first came out in like 2002, I don't know, whatever, just throwing that out there, approximate year, give or take. It came with hyper-threading, and hyper-threading was revolutionary. I loved my Pentium 4 because hyper-threading just had this tiny little portion of your processor that would save for just little small things. So you could play like a video game and have Windows Media Player in the background and easily like tab back and forth. and like on a Pentium 3, you would lag bad, man. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that very well. So it was revolutionary.
I remember those days.
And then Pentium 4s got all the way up to like 3.4, 3.6 gigahertz without overclocking, just like out of the box, like that you would buy, right? That was the final age of the Pentium 4. Then came the dual core, Intel dual core, and they started out at like 1.2 gigahertz, but it was 2 processors, right, which didn't make it 2.4 gigahertz. It was still only operating, but which juked people. Like it juked them. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are like, "Oh, 2 cores, it must be 2.4 gigahertz. Wow, what a deal, right?" No, the whole thing operates at 1.2 gigahertz, right? And there was a problem because there was no hyper-threading on the original dual cores. So it was just 2 cores, not 2 cores, 4 threads like we have today. It was 2 cores, 2 threads, and they were garbage. Oh man, those were awful. And it wasn't until like later, till I wouldn't say till like the Core 2 Duo that actually had 2 core, 4 threads in them when it started to get good. And then the I series, the 3, 7, 3, 5, and 7 started to actually get really good. So there was like a dark age. It was like the 1970s architectural dark age, like for processors during the dual core phase. Oh, those were garbage.
Yeah, but yeah, the Veil thing, we're still testing that out.
Yeah. I'm like I said, it's running. You know,
so you just got the 1 stake and the 1 orphaned stake.
I got the stake though. I got that when I had the 1,000 on my
I brought mine over.
So like putting his on there too. We haven't got one. We just got an orphan stake. So we're giving it a shot.
2 separate addresses, like 2 separate addresses at 1,000 each or whatever.
No, we brought.
No, it's in one wallet. It's in one wallet.
It's all in one wallet.
It's all in one wallet.
So it only looks at the total amount. It's not like you could.
No. It goes in denominations. No, it goes in denominations. It goes in denominations of what you actually staked. So you get base coin
you have
when
to
you mine
convert it from base coin.
Yeah,
okay.
You get base coin when you mine it. So like, let's say you got 10 base coin and you mint it into 10 zero coin because you need to do it in exponents of 10, either 10,000, 10,000. Or 10, 100, you know what I'm saying, in exponents of 10. So it can't be 20, can't be 30. So you make groups of 10, and those groups will stake, right, as individual groups of 10 or 100 or 1,000, right? So let's say you have 10,000 coins. So you could mint them into a group of 10,000, which would probably get pretty good chances of staking because it's a good amount of coins, right? The problem is that when it does stake, it takes away that whole 10,000 while it's confirming that stake for like 100 or 200 confirmations.
Yeah, I think it's 200.
So you would lose the chance of.
So you would lose a further chance. Ticket. Yeah. So what you'd want to do is either put them into 10 1,000s or 100 100s, as opposed to 1 10,000 block. Because if it finds it with 1 100, it takes that 100 out, and now you still have 9,900 left. And to stake while that one's staking. 9,900. So we have a mix.
Figure out what
on the wall. 9,900 bottles of Veil.
I'm not too worried about it right now. We have like 2 sets of 1,000, and then we have like some other like random denominations as well. So I'm not too worried about it because like once we start getting stakes, if we start getting them consistently, which I don't think we will, then I'll take the 1,000s and put them into 100s because it takes Veil from you if you restake them.
See, that's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out whether it's wiser to do, because I don't fully understand how it works. I don't know if it's just straight up the more sections of coin you have, the more probability of getting a stake, or whether it's the larger quantity of coin in a single group, the higher
What you'd have to do is look at their staking rules because, from what I understand in proof of stake, the different amounts carry a certain staking weight. So then it's just a question of what is the number used. What's the multiplier for your stake weight? Okay, so if it's, if it goes up every day.
Ciro in the chat, what are you talking about? Enable uBlock. I can't believe you were watching ads. I'm not sure what ad you're talking about. But I do have an ad block program. But a lot of the times I'll have it off on YouTube because when I upload a video, and when I'm working on uploading a video, and once I'm working on the individual aspects of the video, I need ad block off while I'm doing that. So sometimes I forget to turn it back on.
Dude, ad block is a pain in the butt. We were just talking about that. I was trying to work with BitTube and uploading videos to BitTube, or transferring videos from YouTube over to BitTube. Like I can't have uBlock on. I can't have VPN on. There's a lot of things that get in the way of that. So I mean, it's just really nice that you have the opportunity or the option to turn it off for those kind of situations, and
I mean I can turn mine off easy, like just off and on, like no problem. Like I said, with BitTube, man, good luck with BitTube, dude. I tried DTube first because DTube came out before BitTube, I believe. Anyway, I tried DTube first, which is Steam's version of YouTube. And on DTube, you have to upload your video. So what I'd have to do is upload it to YouTube, put all the tags in, description, yada yada, do all the things that you need to do, which is time consuming. Yeah. Then I'd have to do the same thing on DTube. And I tried it. I tried it for, I don't know, 10 videos I probably got on there or something like that. And I made like 21 cents in Steam, if that. And I'm like, no, not even remotely worth my time. Like, I could literally go out and pick up and look through people's garbage cans on my street, find their tin cans, take them up, and recycle them for more money than what I'm doing on DTube for my time. No, absolutely not. So then some people are like, oh, BitTube. Oh, yeah, and I got these people in my channel that just try to shill it to me all the time. BitTube. So I go on BitTube, and I link a bunch of my videos, almost all my videos. Like, I was just like, like, just uploading them all. And then I haven't logged on really much since. I logged on a couple times after that, but then I didn't anymore. Because, like, basically nobody watched them. Nobody... there was no donations or like making BitTube like crypto, and so you're right because any YouTuber that just uploads a video and expects people to watch it, you're insane. That's not going to work, right? You have to put marketing into it. You have to like link it places, or you have to tell people, or you have to put it on forums or something like that. You have to do something, right? If you upload a video and you have 4 views on your video, it's because you didn't do anything else, right? It's just like how do you expect people to watch it? I get it, but again, like you said, man, I don't have the time. You don't have the time to like both upload videos to YouTube, then to BitTube, and then work on the description on BitTube and make sure I'm sending people over. Where it's at for a YouTuber to make money straight up is YouTube. If you're really popular.
Yeah, I agree, but I try to support other streaming portals like YouTube is paying, and it's just too big. And I would love to have some alternatives.
It's just hard, man. Like, there are some people, like when you go on DTube, BitTube, those decentralized like video platforms, there are a few people that make good money. Just like there are a lot of steamers that make good money with their blogs and stuff like that, right? But when you try to go on there afterwards, it just doesn't. I'm not interested. I'm just not. I don't know. I don't want to put in the time.
Oh, look at this.
It's kind of like Twitch.
Wow, we're gonna have a 5-way here, boys.
Wow. Yeah. It's kind of like Twitch, man. Like, I could stream on like BitTube and stuff, like people, but like, if you want to like be big, you gotta do it on YouTube and Twitch. I don't know, man. Not really.
Yeah, you get your following, and then you bring your bastards over.
We're trying to get Seth up in here.
Yeah, there he is. The astronomer. He bagged out.
According to the Veil website, this is what it says about staking.
Let's talk about stake.
After each block processing period,
just a minute to prepare. He will be back in just a minute.
1 minute in Veil, the network randomly selects a wallet for validation, based on the amount of Veil that is staked in the wallet.
Mm-hmm. So higher stakes, yeah.
So I guess it's just straight up quantity. It's not
like lottery tickets.
Yeah, but so if it's lottery tickets, wouldn't you have? So I guess the grouping doesn't matter.
Nobody knows that.
So basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you had 100 tens, do you have a higher probability than if you had, 1,000?
Just like I said, we just went over it. So, like, if you had 10,000 and you got a stake, it's going to remove that whole 10,000 during that stake, and now you have nothing left to stake during that time.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying about probability of getting a stake, period. You get what I'm saying?
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters.
Okay.
There are some people on the Discord that will link you stats of, like, who is... like how many like 100s and 10s are like staking total on the network, and a lot of the times it's 100s that stake the best, but I just think that's because that's the most,
because they just happen to have the most,
or they just happen to, or they
See,
they have a lot.
It's very vaguely I don't know.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
and it's hard to mine. It's really hard to mine. Also, just mining this X16
RT
something.
RT.
RT. Yeah. It's My AMD.
I don't think
I
you
tried to set it up for my
Well, the
monitor.
AMDs won't be that good on it. Yeah.
I don't think you were using the right miner though. I don't think.
Yeah,
you were
that was another problem, but I will try it again.
I forgot to tell you. That's my fault.
Yeah,
I told you twice. I told you twice in the Discord, but I forgot to mention that because like when Platypus and I started first mining it, it was actually because of Goose's video, so I blame Goose.
Yeah, let's blame him.
Blame Goose.
Why?
Hey, why?
It's a new coin.
But anyway, so then I was in their Discord,
I didn't
and they're
hold a
linking
gun to your head,
Dredge.
I held a soldering iron.
So I got Dredge, and it
looked
increased
like a
my
gun.
hash rate by almost 80, like 80%.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think
the Dredge miner is astronomically better.
Did I heard Cess just, or was it in my head?
Yeah, he's there.
Hola, caballeros.
Ah.
¿Cómo están?
Hi.
Welcome, Seth.
I'm just kidding. I don't speak Spanish. I just pretend to on YouTube.
Hi.
Ah.
Yeah, I've got a
Chris.
webcam issue, and that OBS has got me all tied up in my filter flow over here to try to record and stream, and so it's like, nope, don't want to share that webcam.
No, it won't.
Oh, you have to turn off your webcam in OBS before you start Discord.
Right. But
it'll try to use that instance, yeah.
It's too late. It's seen everything, and so over my channel, it's like I've got an overlay, so I'm in a lower third. How about this? It's kind of neat. If you on my channel, my actual face is over my avatar face in Discord. So
incredible.
It's
so
technology.
So what's up in the scene? I was very busy last week in real life and working, so it's the best chance for me to ask what happened on the last week. Is something new? What projects are you working?
Ooh, I'm mostly anti-shilling AMD releases. That's like all I'm doing.
Okay.
Anti-shilling, yeah. So Radeon 7. You guys already talked about Radeon 7?
No, not quite.
Not yet, but that's coming up. Oh, that was yesterday. Oh, I totally forgot.
I'm gonna say, you guys ready for me to? Okay.
Do you have one?
No.
Tell us something about it.
What, you don't want to spend $700 to get that thing?
I wouldn't mind spending $700, but what I really don't want to spend is $1,000, and that's street price now. You really want one?
Man.
Want one today?
Are they already bought out?
No way.
Oh yeah.
Are they already bought out?
Bruh, first 45 minutes sold out.
I don't mind.
So what about their performance? Are they reasonable or what?
Though?
They should have taken pre-orders, I believe, but I mean anywhere that you could order
only buy one,
live.
that's the problem.
That too. I mean, well, unless of course you are somehow positioned to buy more than one, which we've seen on other launches too, right? RTX, same thing, right? Every flagship NVIDIA launch too. Oh, what, 1 or 2 per customer, and then it's like, look, I got 10 of these. How'd you do that? So Radeon 7 now. Yeah.
Yeah. What about their performance though? Like how? I mean, you got any info on that?
Yeah. So the leaked screenshots, which I mentioned in a voice chat over in Discord. Is it bad? A lot of our stuff, like we're kind of underground for a lot of our conversation. But we just don't. I don't publish as often because of the competitive advantage right now. Sorry, selfish mining. But yeah.
Fair enough.
Screenshot right now came out. Kind of odd timing. Screenshot came out right as they went on sale. So it was either leaked internally or there was a pre-release model given to somebody somewhere. Nobody really wants to own that screenshot, but it shows almost 90 mega hash on Ethereum and about 3 kilohash on Kryptonite variants. So just kind of extrapolating. Basically, you're looking at about 150% on Kryptonite of any other Vega, like first-gen Vega, and you're looking about 200% of first-gen Vega. And I looked at that, like if street price is already up to $1,000, screw it. Just go get a couple of Vega 56s for the CapEx.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Vega's crush anyway. So yeah,
and
Vega's
still got potentials. Vega's still have potential. These are good cards.
The Radeon 7 uses HBM2 or no, or GDR6?
No, it's HBM2, but it's got I think it's 4 banks, so it doubles the bandwidth even of the first gen Vega.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember looking at some of the stats, but that was like a couple weeks ago, and they weren't even really released. So, but was like 16 gigs of HBM2?
Correct, but
yeah, that's brutal, dude.
Post CES though, I mean, I got a lot of hate from the AMD fanboys, and I feel bad because I am one, right? I've got Ryzen 7 over here, and love me some AMD workstation class cards and server cards are great, depending on where you find them, how you source them. AMD, I mean, we all know Polaris. It's a top performer in mining until recently. But I found this announcement lackluster, right? When Lisa Su took the stage, I was like, oh no, they're like pushing, AAA game developers on stage because they don't really want to talk about other performance figures. So this is going to be, right? Like, I mean, with RTX at least, it's like, ooh, look, we've got a gimmick switch. RTX on, like the clapper, like RTX on, clap, clap.
They don't even have that.
No. Yeah.
So
that was...
yeah, but okay, but
so
maybe...
no ray tracing or whatever on AMD.
Well, it's funny because they're actually quite good at path tracing, but you have to have really strong OpenCL development to go into path tracing that exploits AMD's architecture. So AMD has still got, I mean, they've had more horsepower for years, but they just have fewer bridles, I like to say. Like, so raw horses out there in the wild Mustangs, but you can't really make them do anything. So mining has kind of exploited that.
Maybe that's good for miners with older.
Probably,
that's what I thought about NVIDIA cards as well. It's good for us with existing mining. It's just too expensive, and yes, it's energy efficient, so the new cards aren't that bad, but they are just too expensive.
Yeah, NVIDIA exploited the shit out of the cryptocurrency mining craze with those $1,300 RTX, the 2080 Ti's. Oh, wow, there is no legit reason to make them that much. When the last generation that they created was what, $700, $600. That's 100% increase from the last generation. They were riding that crypto wave. They thought everybody would buy them up, and they did.
NVIDIA, man, the thing is that they embody their driving principle, right? The brand colors, green.
The problem is that they set a precedent, though. Now they can't just be like, okay, we sold the first wave of 2080 Ti's. Let's bring them back down to the regular price range where they should be, $700-800, whatever. Now they can't, you know what I mean? Because you'd just be like, wait, I just bought it. I bought it for $1,300. Like, screw you. You know what I mean? Like, why would you? Now they set this precedent. Now the next, like in a year and a half or 2 years when they come out with the next one, now they're going to be another $1,300 or $1,500 for like the top model, it's only because those new models would have been $700-800 if it wasn't for the crypto phase. That's the only reason, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. It's so expensive.
Totally agreed. And gamers are still getting the short end of the stick. I mean, they thought they had to have a little reprieve with the bear market. They kind of did if they bought used, but now there's no going back. Genie's out of the bottle. New product releases. I mean, when Navi is released, look forward to more of the same. No matter what the announced price is.
But to say something positive, I think that AMD and NVIDIA, or most likely NVIDIA, maybe could have learned about the past and that they are now more interested in the mining because they learned that it wasn't the gamer who bought 6 cards.
Right.
And they lost much, and
I love those articles.
They try to. I think it could be that they are getting the idea to accept miners a little bit.
Those were funny, man. With my whole crypto news channel, it's just every day. I'm for a couple years basically looking up crypto news, and I love the NVIDIA ones back in the day, 6-8 months, almost a year ago now. Like, NVIDIA is not quite sure on how much the crypto market has increased their revenue.
Yeah.
You're telling me you're a multi-billion-dollar company and you don't know that? I'm calling stinky shit on that one. I'm like, you could have hired me for $11 and I would have told you the answer. You know what I mean? Send it to me in PayPal. I'll email you back the answer, NVIDIA. How about that one? How about you go into a Best Buy or a Fry's Electronics? Why don't you step on to Amazon or Newegg.com? See how many GPUs you can pick up today when they all said out of stock. And like the shelves of Best Buy and Fry's Electronics or whatever Forever Electronics store looked like it looked like the canned goods section of a grocery store during a zombie apocalypse.
It's true.
Gone, done, gone. Like people even took the spinach. You know what I mean? Like people even took like
canned spinach. Okay.
The Vienna sausages.
People even took the canned cauliflower. You're like, oh, like I don't like cauliflower, but I haven't eaten 3 days. You know what I mean? You think gamers are getting 6-way SLI? What are you talking about, NVIDIA?
But it could be a thing. I mean, it could happen. 6-way SLI.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah, even though 4-way SLI basically doesn't exist and never even worked properly in the first
way.
No. I beg to differ. X79 boards shipped with 4-way SLI bridge cards.
Oh man, that never worked, dude. Try getting your game to work on 4-way SLI, man. Try not to get it crash. You know?
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, like, it's just ridiculous what they're.
Back to the point, I think that it's a big chance, and I think the truth is in the middle, Sotko. Because there were back then times when mining was interesting, and Nvidia. What's the name? Moved up their production. They raised their production 2013, and they got the problem after the mining market broke down that they just had too much GPUs. So they learned from that, and I think that's the problem Nvidia and AMD got. They don't trust the mining sector. There's much money to make, but there's also much money to lose. And this point that they keep on that they can't sell the graphic cards.
Meep, I think you're totally right in terms of just the core chips, bin chips and stuff. I mean, the inventory they've got lying around. I mean,
look at their stock reports. I mean, they're bleeding money like a sieve.
That's just a problem.
Stock's down like 20% or something insane.
Yeah. Hey, can I give a quick channel insert here, guys? You're watching Sotko Cast on MrSotko's channel. Are you being restreamed?
Wow. Oh, you being restreamed? I'm being restreamed? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of legal ramifications for that. Oh, no.
Do I need to contact your agent?
Yeah, I got my 20 people that working with me. You just can't see them because they're over there. But there's 20 people. Like I said, one of them's always playing Minecraft, and that's how I get my Pepsi shills. And
hey, man, child labor only works if you're married. You got to produce them in house.
Well, fortunately, I'm in Arizona. I can just go right down to the border, pick a few up.
Oh, snap.
A little snap them up.
Few kids or few wives? Oh, shots fired.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. Oh. I joke. That's a Four Corners joke there.
I like somebody on my Twitch chat here said, "Holy shit, is that Seether Strutter?" It absolutely is, guys. You have the name absolutely right.
100%.
Type in YouTube Seether Strutter and hit subscribe. No, I'm sorry. It's Seth Estrada, guys. You can YouTube it.
Oh, yeah, you'll get some breadcrumbs. There may or may not have been some content, some controversial, just expose.
Yeah. So what else is new?
Seth Strutter.
Oh man, Radeon 7 is kind of the big thing. I think in terms of like mining space, the small to mid-scale miner, that's just my take on it. That's been the biggest part of the news cycle that's hit my radar, is that it's like, oh wow, new hardware. We're also excited about this new hardware, finally. Something. That and the Sapphire card, right? Their mining edition Polaris card with the 16 gig VRAM.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was for the articles were saying they made that for Grin, but yeah. Yeah, there was a bunch of articles going on that was like, oh, AMD's making a Grin card, the Sapphire with 16 gigs, like, for, but I'm sure it can mine just about anything. I'd like to see a
AMD
whole rig
of basically Ethereum.
Yeah, and Monero.
And Monero, yeah, that's right.
And Cryptonite, yeah.
So they've got a little figure on their website. They've got a microsite for that card on Sapphire's website, where they're trying to do a proper product sort of hype cycle, and get ready for when it launches. And they've given a pre-release figure of 0.8 graphs per second on C31, which to me just seems unbelievable. It seems incredible. Are you guys mining any C31 on any Polaris cards? With Grin Miner or anything?
Polaris card.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I have one Polaris card, but
I think Meep was buying it, mining Grin.
Sure.
for a bit.
We invoked the dark spirit of Meep.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of mining Grin.
Yeah, I know.
Staking Grin.
I had to
Or
take
not
a phone
Grin,
call,
but
that's why.
Wait. On AMD cards, I can take a look. Maybe I can give you a number just right now. But what did you say? Says?
Polaris cards. So with Grin Miner, any 8 gig Polaris cards, with mining edition 470s or maybe newer 570, 580. I mean, all those 590s you got too. I know you got them.
Hang on.
I mean, we all went out and bought 590, just like they wanted. I'm sure.
Just like they did.
Sotko, man, while he's looking it up, what are you? What has got you excited in the mining space right now? I mean, or I should say, less face punchingly depressed.
Yeah.
If not excited.
Bunch of nothing really. Like I said, I'm mining Veilcoin and staking it. So getting some stakes on Veilcoin, but other than that, man, not really. You know, I'm not too hyped by Grin. I especially after reading the developers, small, the world's smallest violin. Like, oh, I didn't get 55,000 euros, so I can't quit my day job. Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, Grin, ooh, that's grim. So. Yeah, just Veil right now. I don't think, I think in terms of like mining, I'm not so sure, but in terms of the crypto market in general, 2019 has got me a little worried in the sense that I think backed futures is going to make a small hype, in the market. Like, let's say backed futures is like, okay, we're going to come out April 1st, even though that's whatever.
It's a good day, actually. It's a good day for anything crypto.
It's a great day for anything crypto, exactly. But and I think in the few weeks that is before that, there's going to be a hype. There's going to be a hype cycle. People are going to be posting in the Reddits. They're going to be posting on forums wherever, be like, oh, backed is coming, better buy in. And everybody's going to buy in. But I don't think people realize that backed futures is a futures market, right? You could short futures, you can long futures, just the same. So if there's a big hype, right, going up to it, wouldn't you want to short it? You know what I mean? Wouldn't people want to short it if there's a hype cycle up to it? So I don't know. I'm not sure. And then the whole institutional investor thing, the Bitcoin ETFs, institutional investors, they're coming. It's like Game of Thrones at this point. Oh, the dragons are coming. Yeah. The dragons and the zombies are coming. I promise the dragons are. It's going to be in season 7, but just wait 7 years.
Yeah, right.
And they're coming, but like the problem with that I have with that on the goods, I'll start with the good side first, and that's your Bitcoin might go up in price. Great, so that means all crypto goes up in price. Maybe, yeah, exactly.
But I think there's an inverse relationship there.
One thing I got Bitcoin goes up. Why? Because they actually have to buy the Bitcoin as security.
With backed futures, they do. But with, for example, CME, the CBOE group, those futures that came at December 17th and literally the next day everything crumbled. Yeah. Wow, what a coincidence. Those are paper. Those are paper trades. So
that's the major difference. Yeah. Okay.
So it's essentially just like you might as well be betting on a horse race. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? And then you pay in cash, you get paid in cash. It's settled. But backed is settled in Bitcoin. So they're going to have to buy Bitcoin in order to settle in Bitcoin. So that's a good thing. But anyway, I'm talking about the institutional investment overall. That's like has been going on in the news and hype for who knows how long, since the end of 2017. And like I said, on the one side, is it sure your Bitcoin and crypto? Let me correct it. May go up in value, and that's going to make all crypto. But on the bad side, we have institutional investors into crypto, which is going to make a lot of regulation. And plus, when has institutional investments ever helped you? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're inviting the fox into the henhouse. It's terrible.
I think for some point I disagree. I think maybe it is good when the investors come in, the Bitcoin will pump, but question will be, will I have enough at this? And I must admit, at this point, I do not feel that I have enough Bitcoin, so I don't.
Everybody doesn't feel they have
enough Bitcoin.
Money.
Yeah, it's like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite done. The idea is that institutional investment is the antithesis of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was made, and I hate to use this cliche nonsense, but it was made by the people for the people, essentially, right? So that we could create our own currency and then trade on the internet with our own currency, right? And then everyone's excited for the government, for the institutions, for whatever, maybe not the government necessarily, but institutions to get into Bitcoin, which was essentially, like, does not anybody not remember the Occupy Wall Street movement? You know what I mean? Like people used to hate the institutions, and now we're like, oh, as long as the institutions make my Bitcoin go up in price, like, it's fine. You know what I mean?
Well,
but they're going to take all your Bitcoin, and then it's going to make it impossible to rebuy into Bitcoin
totally
if they raise the price.
Totally agreed. On the negative side, I think you're absolutely right in that, like, Satoshi's white paper is only it's like 2 parts white paper, 1 part manifesto, and that manifesto is very, very anti-institution. Very, very much so.
That's like the whole point.
Yeah,
that's the
literally
whole point.
Was the whole point.
Literally the entire point. It's the only reason.
But people don't care as long as their crypto goes up in price, and that shows how many people just do not care about real crypto development. Yeah. And it's because, you know, whenever you put that connotation on crypto, and I hate this, you know, because I do it all the time because you just kind of have to. But when you're like, oh man, I can't wait for Bitcoin to go to 20,000 because you want to cash out your Bitcoin to get your fiat, right? And that's okay. Like, that's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay to make some money. But it just really goes to show how 90+%, it's just like, it doesn't mean anything to them. You know, like, I bought into this ICO. Like, what does it do? I don't know. I just bought into it because it's going to go up 10 times in value.
It's not okay. It has nothing to do with contribution to do something for the system or for the blockchain or for the future. It's not even having a YouTube channel or telling something about Bitcoin. I hate these people most. It's okay because it's just trading. So if I got my Bitcoin at 20K, sure, I want to not have so much losses on it, but the thinking is wrong. It's the wrong way.
I agree. And Sako, to your first point about people saying, oh, well, perhaps the price will go up. Like, one thing about having institutional investors, one thing about having this sort of move towards institutional, air quotes, legitimacy, is that the proposed ETFs, when they failed, we can draw some conclusions about what the success would be based on what the consequences of failure have been. What happened when the ETFs didn't pass? Not a thing. Nothing. Not even a blip. I mean, there no problems at all with price action. It didn't even factor in. Nobody cares. Who's actually active in the space? Nobody cares. We don't need an ETF. We don't need institutional investors per se.
Interesting point. Yeah.
Another thing that institutional investment will do is eliminate the volatility, which is good and bad. It's good because then it's going to be, you know, a more stable currency, you know, because you can't be trading something that goes up in value and down in value within days. Otherwise, you're going to get screwed, or the retailer is going to get screwed. But it's bad for people who like the volatility because they make money and because they day trade, and that's what they're going to do. Because Wall Street uses so many. There are so many bots and so many Wall Street traders that, like, Apple stock won't go up. You know, like, various stocks won't go up wildly most of the time. They do over time, but they usually don't go up too wildly because the bots will immediately buy and sell within a very close range of themselves, because they can't allow it to go down $1 and not be able to pick it up, or they can't allow it to go up $1 and then not actually sell it. You know, with the whole Wall Street thing, there's so many bots that it gets picked up. Oops, kicking my desk. There's so many bots going up and
it's not that serious. Just crypto
value. They're gonna. But
not real.
You know,
it's not even a tangible money.
On what Meep said, though, that, you know, institutional investors could give validity to crypto, and that's true too. But you know what I'd say is giving the most validity to crypto, at least in the United States, because I'm from the United States and I'm in my little bubble against the rest of the world. You know what I mean? Scratching. But it is like these states that are coming out, like Ohio, Florida, Arizona, New Hampshire, that are accepting crypto as taxes, because people always say this is like people's general consensus of money is that, okay, the government makes money, even though it's the Federal Reserve. We're not going to get into that nonsense, but the government makes money, distributes it to the people in a big nutshell. Again, we're not going to get into it.
Like you said, that keyword is makes money, doesn't earn money.
Right, and then you're able to use that money to pay your taxes. Now it's valid, right? Because if you can pay the government your taxes with this money, then it's valid, right? So if these states open up cryptocurrency, it truly validates it in the government's eyes and in your eyes, if that's how you say it, you know what I mean? If that's how people say it, then now it's a valid currency because you can pay your state taxes. Maybe not so much federal, but you can pay your state taxes now and your business taxes and things like that in crypto. Now it's valid. Now it's a valid currency, period. Because the government recognizes it.
If that's the case, if that becomes true, then they have to treat it as a currency, not as an asset, which means we shouldn't have to claim every little transfer that we make, which is absolutely ridiculous right now.
Yeah, those are ridiculous, dude. I had somebody on my channel.
If I transfer like 0.0, if I print 3 Satoshis to myself, from just to move it from one wallet to another, and the price happened to go up a little bit, now I have to pay capital gains on sending it to myself? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so, man, I had somebody on my channel, dude, who I don't know if it was true or not, but he commented on my channel, and he also commented on one of the tax videos I kind of made a while back, and he was saying, he's like, oh my God, like I have, it says that I owe $100,000 in taxes. Like I made $100,000 in transactions, and like I don't know what I'm gonna do. And the guy was like, I hate to repeat it, but he was like, if this is true, I'm gonna off myself. And I'm like, whoa, dude. First of all, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. First of all, $100,000 in transactions shouldn't equate to $100,000 in taxes owed, right? It's supposed to be capital gains, man. Like, so I can trade $5,000 multiple times, but I only made that first $5,000, and now I'm making like 10, 20 bucks per trade after that, right? So the first $5,000 that I transformed, that's 5,000. Now that I transform that into US dollar. Now when I trade that over and over, it shouldn't be 5,000 over and over. It should just be $10 because I'm making $10 per trade, let's just say, right, with my 5,000 crypto investment. And I make one a day, so that's $10 a day, right? So it's $5,010 plus 10, 10, 10, right? That's the way it should be. I'm like, you need to get yourself a tax professional, man. Get off YouTube, first of all, and go to a tax professional, man. Like, you should, like,
he said ironically on YouTube.
Yeah, so
what you mean?
Like these taxes
YouTube
are
is not where you can't find all the answers on YouTube.
Oh, man.
It is the nexus of truth.
YouTube is not a place for financial advisors.
Not when it's that bad. Oh my God, man! No, if you,
I know, really.
Like, I don't know your situation, man, and.
All right, so yeah, perhaps there is, perhaps I was being a little parabolic when I said that, but I mean the reality is just that they need to overhaul it. Andreas Antonopoulos, the Bitcoin Jesus, said it himself. It's grossly out of whack. Like it needs to be adjusted.
You're supposed to track, like, if I traded Bitcoin to Ethereum, and I'm supposed to track that, and then I'm supposed to track it if I took that Ethereum and put it into a different wallet. Like, you got it. Like, good luck, IRS. Are you serious? Like, I can't even track that. You kidding me? I'd have like a stack of papers like this big. I'd be an accountant. Like, I might as well just. Are you kidding me?
I think that's part of the problem, right? Is that they recognize the threat. And all right, let's make it as difficult as possible so that it keeps people on fiat.
Yeah, deterrence.
I just don't think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think they know what they're talking about.
It's both.
It's
I think
bureaucratic
it's both.
deterrence.
It's a bunch of people making taxes.
And again, we talked about this earlier today. That's why I prefer to stick on Bitcoin for most parts. Because after I make my taxes, the next questions may or may not come. And even more interesting things like proof of stake is possible to handle it with taxes, but let's say CoinLet or airdrops and all these special cases are very interesting to handle them on paper with your tax.
Yeah.
But that's why, I mean, it sounds kind of bad. Maybe a little crypto anarchist, a little anarcho-capitalist here. But you can't shake a crypto tree without 2 or 3 ANCAPs falling out. So, I mean, if you got to put on an extra layer of tin foil, I won't begrudge you that. But that's why so many of us miners mine privacy coins.
That's what I was just about to say. I think this is going to spur the privacy.
Why is Litecoin going private?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a branch off of privacy of almost every coin.
Yeah, beyond that, hey, so Goose, why does Charlie Lee not hold any right now?
Ah, and then Litecoin goes private, and then he'll go get some more.
Yeah,
So,
You know what I mean? And of course, like you said, you got to take a little bit with a grain of salt, but at the same time, it's a pressing issue, and that's what we've been talking about privacy coins the last 3-4 streams now.
Hey, what's up, Hydro?
It's going to be a thing.
The whole government is like, I remember reading an article on my page, on my channel, I don't know, a month ago or something, and it was about the Congress is passing like 3 bills that will allow the government to check like all these different things, and it really showed how out of touch the government is with crypto. Like these people don't know anything about crypto. They have no idea what they're talking about, and that's what like the IRS, like, right? Like it's a bunch of group of people like sitting together, and you know the government coming together and being like, hey, like all this crypto transactions, like we need to tax this, and they're like, oh, okay, so let's write some stuff up. None of them know anything about it, and it's clear that Congress doesn't either, because like first of all, one of the things that they were going to look into is that they're still on this deal. They're still on this topic that all crypto is used for is illegal activities, right? That's all it's used for. That's all the government knows. That's all they hear. That's all they hear. That's all they hear. They got to take care of it, right? But it's such a small amount. Like considering the market cap of crypto in the first place, then you can take like 1% of that, maybe tops, like as illegal activity, something like that. Right, so that's such small potatoes, you know, like Silk Road kind of stuff. Like it's so small potatoes, and it's amazing how out of touch the government is that they go after these small things, right? They want to go after these little tiny small things, yet there's this big lingering pile on the other end of like the actual real money being used for crimes, right? It's like a beach. Right, you know, just like behind Meep there, you got that beautiful beach picture, right? And there's a few tin cans and a little bit of plastic on that beach, right? On that beautiful beach poster that he's got behind him, right? So the government comes along and says, "Man, we really got to clean up this beach, right? We got to get those tin cans off the beach." But meanwhile, if you take a look to the left, you didn't see the big garbage pile that's just dumping toxic waste into the ocean, right? They don't care about that. They want to get these tin cans off there because that's where the tourists go, right? Like it amazes me how out of touch the government is. Well, like they don't hire anyone.
No. I do want to put this out there that I have come across some articles. I've got one up on the screen right now from Crypto Slate. In September, the government allocated over $800,000 to research and development of cryptocurrency, and it's going to be called Open Science Chain. And it's going to be run by the National Science Foundation. And so they have been for several years now researching this on the down low.
The NSA knows about it. The NSA is on top of it. You're crazy if you don't think the NSA was on top of it on day one.
They may have had that.
Conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory. Satoshi is the NSA.
Well, SHA-2 is made by the NSA. That's fact.
Wait a minute.
So, and SC Linux was sponsored by the FBI, right? Like, and Tor, right? Sponsored by the Navy. Like everything you think you know about cryptography, everything you think you love about privacy, always sponsored by DoD dollars.
Dude, no, we've got right, Platypus. It is
strong theory.
We have talked about this a few times, and I always feel a little weird talking about it because I don't know what other people will think about it. But I love me a good conspiracy theory, right? I'm a very objective person, and I love destroying conspiracy theories. Like that engineer that went underground and got blasted by an alien. I hate that. Okay, that's the dumbest story I've ever heard. Anyway,
the actual reason that I can't appear on camera is because I am in fact a lizard person. So I am part extraterrestrial. Please be mindful because today I identify as extraterrestrial and a specific gender, but I'm not telling you which. So. mind your privilege, buddy. All right.
I have your YouTube.
I'm sorry,
up,
my
actually.
privilege is gone.
I see that you have a background
Caucasian,
like that.
Done.
Oh, and that's just it. Like I'm too tied in. I'm too tied into all my filters. So
yeah, I have your YouTube up. Like I see I see how you did. I see what you did there. But anyway, we went over these conspiracy theories, like that the NSA created it, or that the Rothschilds created it, so that they could see how the world would react to a digital currency. There's so many of them. But I think Hal Finney obviously clearly had something to do with it because he was the first Bitcoin recipient, and you don't receive Bitcoin for no reason, right?
Yeah, hey dude, you want this Bitcoin?
You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, right?
Hey, dude.
And then
how do I hold it?
I really enjoy the Dave Kleiman story. Dave Kleiman story to me is very interesting. Because Dave Kleiman and Craig Wright worked directly together and communicated with emails. So I truly think that Craig Wright is not Satoshi. I think he's fake Satoshi. I think he's fake Toshi. However, I truly think that Craig Wright had something to do with the creation of Bitcoin. Whether he knew the people and he was communicating back and forth with email like a friend, like for example, if Goose was making Bitcoin and he just happened to email me and he's like, hey, I'm working on this. Like, can you give me a little tip? Right? That didn't mean that I made it. That doesn't mean that I'm Satoshi, but I did have something to do with it at that point, right? And so I think him and Dave Kleiman, I think Dave Kleiman mined 1 million Bitcoin. And I think he gave, when he died, because if you read the story about Dave Kleiman, he died a fairly gruesome death. Like, it's very weird. And nobody talks about it. But it's a very gruesome death.
I thought it was just painful. Sorry.
He had no, dude, there was blood everywhere and a gun and stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
dude.
It
was real weird.
And feces and a gun and blood and everywhere. Like, yeah, dude, it was a mess.
Hey, Socko, here's the thing, man. When a person dies, that just happens. So, like...
Yeah.
Like, there's always...
Not everywhere.
Not in the way that
maybe in your pants.
What? Yeah, so they brought a monkey in to go throw it around.
And not everybody shits themselves when they die.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I've had several people die close to me in my life, and none of them shit their pants.
Oof.
None that I know of, anyway. Anyway.
But anyways, yeah.
So Dave Kleiman mined 1 million Bitcoin. I think he had a USB drive. The story goes that like when he died, he willed or essentially willed this USB drive, an encrypted USB key, something like that, to his brother, to Dave Kleiman's brother. Now, I think what Craig Wright did is he knew that because he communicated with Dave Kleiman. So I think he knew that, right, that he had 1 million. So I think Craig Wright falsified the Tulip Trust document, the Bitcoin Tulip Trust document. I think he falsified that and just made it up that when Dave Kleiman dies, it goes to Craig Wright because he wanted that 1 million Bitcoin. So there's a case right now. There is a case, literally, a court case. Yeah. I got to follow it. I got to follow it a little bit better. But there's a case right now where Craig Wright is going to trial over this 1 million Bitcoin. And if he gets it, he's going to dump that 1 million Bitcoin and probably pump Bitcoin as fee. So I really think that Craig Wright did have something to do with Bitcoin, but he can't prove it. I think he knows the public keys that the 1 million Bitcoin exist on, but he can't prove it because he doesn't have the private key. To take it away. So he said he was Satoshi, and people were like, prove it. So what he did was send the public keys that have that 1 million Bitcoin on it, but everyone's like, no, that's not going to do it, right? You need your private key. Like you need to show us that you can move that Bitcoin, and he couldn't do it. So that's why people call him fake Toshi. But I think him, Hal Finney, and Dave Kleiman, in some way, shape, or form, and maybe even Nick Szabo or Waydai, whether it was just maybe they took their information from BitGold and Bcash from Waydai. But yeah, it's such a mystery. Like the Satoshi, it's such a great mystery, and I love it. Like I can't wait to find out who it is, but I don't know if we should.
I agree.
But
I don't know if we will at this point.
Yeah, we might not.
I think that
with Craig Wright, I would. I don't like him. Not at all.
Oh no! I don't think anybody does. But it's objective. It's pretty objective right now that with the Bitcoin Tulip Trust and his actual emails to Dave Kleiman, and how does he know about this 1 million Bitcoin? Just stuff like that. He does have a connection with it in some way. Whether he was just a consultant, whether he knew his friend was doing it or somebody else was doing it, was like, hey, like, can you work on this with me? Because Craig Wright's story is that he was making Bitcoin and he contacted Dave Kleiman to help me out because there's a lot of emails that say, hey, like, I know that you're really good with this sort of thing, so I'm going to send you this information. That's what Craig Wright says. But there are emails, so maybe he just falsified it to look like it was the other way around, whereas Dave Kleiman was getting hold of Craig Wright, maybe. But
falsified emails? No, that can't happen.
No, it can't happen. It's not possible. It's the blockchain.
No way.
Dude.
Yeah,
because nobody understands it. Because nobody understands the technology well enough.
They're using blockchain email, dude. So don't even, no conspiracy.
Yeah, and I always think of the genesis of the how is it called? The Genesis.
The Genesis block.
Yeah, the Genesis block, and there's a timestamp in the Genesis block, and this timestamp directs to a news article of the London Times, I think.
Yeah, Chancellor on brink of bailout.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for me, this is the first thing. It's a message. It's a message for what the Bitcoin is supposed to be. But second, it directs the creation of Bitcoin for me to England, somehow in that direction.
Or Australian, which could be, again, could potentially be Craig Wright, because I know, I hate to say it, because fuck fake Toshi, everybody hates him, dude, he's just a douche. Yeah. But like,
well, I think he's getting his comeuppance. That's the thing. Like, if somebody's bringing a suit against him, I think that is the perfect poetic justice, where it's kind of like, oh, you claim to have this amount, but guess what? Now you're liable for it. You made a public claim to those funds as Satoshi. Sorry, Satoshi. Thanks, Ozzy. Thanks for correcting us all, Craig Wright. Satoshi. So I've been saying it wrong. But as Satoshi, so if he does indeed have those funds, he has to go prove it. He's got to put up or shut up. And when he puts up, he is being sued for that value by interested parties because he was associated with all the others. And if he's implicated in wrongful death or anything else that they have a claim to, then he is going to get bent over a barrel for those funds.
Yeah, because the original emails with Satoshi were a lot. There was a lot of English wording, and let me just tell you that like most Americans or anybody else doesn't use the word bloody and stuff. And then in 2011 was one of Satoshi's last messages on the Bitcoin forum, and he said, somebody asked him what you were up to lately, and Satoshi said, the account Satoshi said, I've moved on from Bitcoin onto bigger things. And that was in 2011, shortly before Dave Kleiman died. So maybe Dave Kleiman just said he moved on to bigger things. Or maybe Craig Wright and Dave Kleiman actually mined, and maybe got help from Hal Finney as well. So Hal Finney's in this as well with some emails. But maybe him and Dave Kleiman actually did mine 1 million Bitcoin together. Right, and then Dave Kleiman died and gave the USB to his brother, and now Craig Wright wants that Bitcoin back. So, again, I hate to keep putting Craig Wright in there because I know everybody fucking hates him because he's a douche. But you can't take Craig Wright out of the situation because he's in a lot of emails and he's in a lot of communication with a lot of people who are considered to be Satoshi. And so, again, you can be affiliated with somebody, but not necessarily be Satoshi. And to be affiliated with somebody, you can still ask that person questions. How did you become affiliated with this person? What did you guys talk about? How did you get this 1 million Bitcoin? How did Dave Kleiman, what was Dave Kleiman's role in this? What was Hal Finney's role? This, that, and the other thing. And I guess I don't know, interesting.
At a gut level, I reject Craig Wright as Satoshi because he doesn't in my mind, he doesn't fit the psychographic profile of the person who wrote the white paper. So even if it was white paper by committee, he just doesn't embody the principles, the political or the social principles that Satoshi lays out in that white paper. Again, if it's 2 parts white paper, 1 part manifesto, he is not an ANCAP. He is.
True.
We would call him a statist, right? He's very much okay with giving the state its cut. He's very much okay with a very authoritarian rule of law situation. The whole well, you don't understand. And his recent rants talking about the way he's going to control hash rate, he just doesn't fit the profile in my mind. So everything he said, I think all of it is sandbagging. He's doing this whole thing to try to maintain attention, because in the space that he occupies in business, think of him as sort of like an Aussie less orange Trump, right? Like, he needs attention in order for his business interests to thrive. The only thing worse for him than being talked about is not being talked about. So he'll say whatever it takes to maintain a bit of spotlight.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah, I think maybe Craig is the Abaddon part of the Satoshi group, the one who needs more ego than the others, and maybe he's the one who's the Aberdont.
It's probably a Satoshi group.
Some more, yeah.
And he knew that 1 million Bitcoin were mined, and he knew how much they were worth, and now he's trying to falsify documents and falsify himself to try and get that million Bitcoin. However that came to be, because again, Bitcoin is a jump of numerous things in the past. Cryptography really started in the 80s, with computers anyway. Cryptography has been around for a long time. But then, in the 90s, the cypherpunk movement, and then there was Bcash or whatever it is by Wei Dai, and then BitGold by Nick Szabo, but none of those really took off or worked. There was a couple other iterations, and then we got Bitcoin. And I read the Satoshi white paper just a few days ago. Actually, I read it again just to look at it, and
some weirdo recorded it in the voice of Morgan Freeman. If you're into that sort of thing.
Oh man, dude. Oh man, Goose. Just make a video sometime reading the entirety of the Bitcoin white paper in Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Then we have.
Hello, children.
Bitcoins.
This is your big daddy Satoshi Nakamoto.
Dude, seriously, if you can draw the entire white paper out for over 2 hours, you could charge admission.
I could charge BitTube coins. Have you ever seen Great Balls of Fury? It was a great movie. In that movie, I played a guy who was into ping pong, or as a China ping pong, and it was a good time. Black Jack is in it. Wait a minute. Jack Black is his name. I forgot. Great movie. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. It's about ping pong. What more do you need?
I like how everybody in the chat immediately stops.
Yeah,
we don't even breathe. We're like, listen to this. It's so fun, man.
I said,
so everybody else can hear it.
I said,
so good.
It's blackjack.
It's like, dude, like I said, guys, I watched we were talking in chat privately a couple days ago or something like that, and just for fun, I brought up Christopher Walken impressions YouTube video. You can just type it in, and it's like the top 10 Christopher Walken impressions or something like that. One of them's Kevin Pollak, who I believe does a really good job of it, and a few others. And then the rest of them were garbage. And I'm like, dude, Goose-Tech is literally better than 70% of these actual impersonators that's in this video. Wait, no, dude, I'm telling you that. I'm not even joking. I'm telling them that because other people they lose character. You can hear it behind them. One was Kevin Spacey. He was trying to do it on.
Yeah, his is not as.
And it just was not good, man.
At least not in that video. It was. I've heard better versions from him, but
yours is easily one of the best I've ever heard, man. It's really
wow. I'm gonna second that vote for a full read through of the white paper.
Yeah, dude.
I think that'll be the way I start my new Christopher Walken mining page. It'll be a full read of Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper, and then
so
we can take.
I need to have a picture, a black and white picture of Christopher Walken
using your CPU.
And then the white paper scrolling, you know what I mean? And you read it as it comes. So it's just a picture of Christopher Walken, a video, and then the white paper scrolling, and you read it as it goes.
You can take random Vitalik quotes out of order and do Vitalik quotes in Christopher Walken's voice.
I'm gonna do it. You convinced me. I got nothing else to do tonight. Why not?
For 3 hours while I read the white paper.
In fact, I'll just do a live stream. Who cares? A live stream, Satoshi Nakamoto in the flesh, in the Christopher Walken flesh. Yeah, I can do it. I think it would be fun. And then
it would be really fun.
we'll make it go viral. It'll go viral overnight.
And nobody will know. Yeah, nobody will know. It won't be Christopher Walken. It'll just be a new YouTube channel. Yeah, 1 million views minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
Confirmed.
Telling you, Hydra says we need to do a Goose, and I do Max Kaiser. I don't think my Max Kaiser is remotely good. I just think it's so funny that it's so satire that it's funny. Max Kaiser and a Max Kaiser report and my goofy ass kook wife on RT News. It's from total Russian propaganda. Max Kaiser, a Wall Street bank is gonna get you, and you need gold. I twitch sometimes.
It's so hard to
Fucking
keep
Max
that voice
Kaiser,
up,
dude.
It'll destroy your throat.
Yeah, dude, I'd be like, this blood would hit my
Blood
monitor.
coming out of it. How do you talk like that normally? What is wrong with you?
I appreciate Max Kaiser, you know, for his Bitcoin shilling, but dude, I can't listen to that guy for more than 2 minutes, man. It's just like, you know, it's not like he says like false things. It's just.
Well, that's why he's got a good editor, man. He's got a great editing team. Most of his stuff is like his better stuff is heavily. His part is heavily redacted. It's like all his guests.
He looks like a little midget in a suit, like with suspenders, and like, oh look, they put suspenders on him. It's so cute.
Yellow elf on the shelf.
Man, I used to watch a lot of RT News, like in 2012, 2013. I was really into RT News. I've always been into the news. Like, I mean, I took geography in like school. You know what I mean? Like I love the news and world stuff. And eventually I came to the conclusion that I'm like, no, I have to stop watching RT News because I really liked Crosstalk with Peter Lavelle or whatever, and they'd always bring these like 3 people in, but 2 people were shilling for the channel, you know what I mean, were shilling for the show or whatever topic, and then 1 person was like against it, right, was the other side of the argument. So it would be like 3 people attacking 1 person, no matter how valid the other person's was. So it was totally biased. And like any channel that's called Russia Today and speaks of nothing about Russia. Like if you've ever watched Russia Today news, RT News, there's nothing about Russia in it. It's Russia Today, and it literally doesn't talk about Russia ever. Like there's so many terrible things going on in Russia, in every country. You know what I mean?
Can you blame them though? Look at Good Morning America. Like what part of America does it actually represent? Really?
Dude, way more than RT. Way more than RT. Like if they said 1 topic about America and Good Morning America, like it'd be way better.
It's got Americans in it. I don't know that it's like, hey,
at the very least,
right?
And then they have the audacity to make RT America, and they display it on American television called RT America, where it's nothing but Russia bashing America for everything they do. Not saying that America doesn't need some bashing from time to time, but again, it's oh god, I can't handle it, and I'm just like,
is it sponsored by a major political party here in the United States? I will not name names. No, it's not.
Probably.
That's actually a shock. So like, I'm not that really. Really, Russia Today, America, is it really that surprising? I don't think it is.
Dude, it's the worst propaganda. Dude, it's worse propaganda than CNN and Fox News.
Yeah.
So speaking of
at least with Fox
then,
News and CNN, you know what the propaganda is about. Like if you're watching Fox News, you just have to like they'll be like Trump is an infallible human being and he has done everything he possibly can. Like if this is Fox News, like Trump is infallible. He's the greatest human being. He's the greatest president we've ever seen. He just wants to build a border wall to make us safe. We need to give him $48 billion to build this wall. And then CNN, they're like Trump is the worst president we've ever had. We should impeach him and we should hang him from the trees. And like so you have to just like so at least you know you're like okay so CNN's a Democrat channel. You know what I mean? At the very least. Like, whereas RT, you're like, what are you even trying to... Why? Yeah. Like, Russia Today?
That's that's a hallmark of Dems past. I'm sure you're aware, the KKK is not so loosely affiliated with the Democratic Party. That's the birthplace of their movement. I mean, today, obviously, nobody wants to touch them with a 10-foot pole publicly. But if you want to get all historical about it,
it's there. Well, that is, of course, if you know the history. Not many people do.
Sotko, do your Alex Jones impression. Dude, I haven't done that in a long time. I made that one video one time where somebody was like, hey, instead of starting your channel with, all right, MrSotko here, start it with something different. And I was like,
that was funny.
I'm going to do that.
like gay frogs.
So you did Alex Jones?
Yeah, he sold his vitamins and everything.
Isn't Alex Jones banned from YouTube recently?
What?
I just followed that something happened with Alex Jones regarding YouTube ban.
That was a while ago. That was
a long time.
But what's recent?
Okay.
At least a year ago now, probably.
What might have brought it back up though was Joe Rogan's interview with Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, and he asked Jack directly on his show, "Hey, so why was Alex Jones banned?" And he blanched. He was like, no reason. Don't ask."
Jack Dorsey's such an SJW. He might as well get him. He might as well get himself a Hitler Youth haircut today. Party on the left, Sieg Heil der Recht. Dude,
Wow.
Twitter, man.
Yeah, hey.
Jack Dorsey and his SJW nonsense. Can't stand it. God, I couldn't watch that podcast. I love the Joe Rogan podcast, but if it's Jack Dorsey on there with his "I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I'm from Oregon. I'm from Portland." Like, no, you're not a lumberjack. You're drinking coffee and you're driving a Volkswagen. You're not a lumberjack. Get the beard off. Get the beard off.
That's some pretty deep Monty Python you got going there. I mean, like, just whatever you do, don't mention the war. Don't mention the war.
There's a few things here, okay? I don't want to get too political, but the whole SJW thing, right? Let's go entertainment then, okay? Have you guys been seeing all of these negative reports about Marvel and Brie Larson and how she, the lead actress for the movie, is like promoting all of this like radical feminism as opposed to like, you know, equality kind of stuff. It's like total SJW, like to the nine.
I have heard a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the the Zionist overlords want women to rule the world so that the world can collapse because they're more manipulatable and they won't.
Well, are you sure it's the Zionist overlords? You sure about
it's the Zionist overlords. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I thought I was. Wait, are you saying that it's the reptilian ones?
No, dude. The whole SJW movement overall is just so ridiculous. Sometimes it's just like how like Ben Shapiro of all people, like, you know what I mean, like just like if he tries to go to like talk like a at a campus, at a college campus, they just riot and start destroying the doors and stuff like that, and like throwing things and breaking windows. It's just because some guy's gonna come to talk because, you know, like what? It's not, dude. It's not like a literal Nazi just came to your college campus and is just like, you know, like what? It's not like the KKK just came to your campus. He's an
Orthodox Jew. He's like the opposite of a Nazi.
Yeah. Hey, Nazi, nice yarmulke. Right?
Yeah, you know, I really like. I think another person, Milo Yiannopoulos.
Sorry, guys, can I give a quick shout out to Brandon Coin, who's saying howdy in the chat over here?
Sorry, as German here in a group, can I change the topic from Nazi, maybe to something different? Like, do we know something about one member of the community asked, can you talk about Richard Hart and Bitcoin?
No. No. Here's the thing: abuse happens in private, and but unless you are a narcissist, because then abuse happens in public when you have an audience and you can control the narrative. Let's not feed the terrorists. Let's not give them what they want. Yeah. Sorry, if I may. Sorry, I'm going to throw that one out there. Please do not. In the attention economy, please do not just throw it at people who are that thirsty.
Good point, Seth.
To Richard Hart?
Dick Hart, yeah.
Yeah, he's very...
you realize that's the pedigree of his name, too, right?
How did
you
joke about
it? So there's what I will say is this. In interviews, he's gone so far as to say, in a previous life, I used to do all these things, and I use a pseudonym. Richard Hart is not my actual name. We know this, right? It's not his actual name. He hasn't doxed himself yet. But he's gone out of his way to say, like, oh, guess what? I used to sell all kinds of stuff online, different websites and such e-commerce, including sex toys.
Yeah, he's a marketing profi.
Yeah, Richard Hart, because I make your Dick Hart. That's his name, Dick Hart.
Yeah, you know, I'm not surprised that Richard Hart sells dick toys, because if you ever watched his podcast, he's like sitting in a robe. He's like sitting in a robe, and there's just all this weird stuff behind him. It makes sense that he has sold some serious fleshlights in his past. What's up, little man?
Yeah, but I must admit his show is quite good. It's not that, but he's very aggressive, and he's very aggressive on his community, and
Agreed. And here's the thing. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with the fundamentals of most of the things that he brings up on his show, but he's not particularly good. He's not particularly good at accepting when he's propped up straw men to attack, and he's good at achieving the pole position in argument and maintaining it. Very good at maintaining thought leadership in debate, which is why he did phenomenally well with Roger Ver on his show. But there's a difference between being really good at debate and even having projects that have decent fundamentals and actually having real trust and being worthy of real trust. I don't know. Like, my gut still tells me, like, what are some of these projects that he's talked about all about? Well, I mean, it's a long game marketing play to further his own business interests. I mean, everybody's self-interested on some level. Good grief. I mean, my channel right now, I've because of my OBS presets, right now my audience is seeing the Seth Strata show featuring Mind Your Biz. Like, it's fully rebranded. Everybody's always got some self-interest. So for me to have such a strong response, it is in part not because I dislike the guy, not going to hate the player, but I see the game he's playing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of
that's no problem. Jetko, you have a German guy in group, and that talking before was swoop. No, I didn't. I didn't talk it at all. In that way, we have no problem. With
I don't think that's the case. Yeah, I mean, I'm
obviously German.
Yeah, none of us meant that. I can speak for all of us, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's unfair.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
No.
We're talking
just
70 years ago kind of stuff.
Certain nationality. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot has changed.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I think
Americans have done bad things. Germans have done bad things.
Let's
French
see.
have done bad things.
We'll just say, like,
Jaiko says, you got a German guy in the group and talking before was rude. How was it rude? I need to know that.
We just touched that literally 2 seconds.
We just touched that?
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
We
this is America.
Yeah.
And I can say whatever I want.
Should we appease the SJWs, though?
Sorry, Jaiko. Jaiko, you SJW.
We should say something about that, too.
I don't like hearing
that Brie Larson is so
about
woke.
history.
Yeah.
I don't like hearing it.
That was
what? Multiple history. You're doomed to repeat.
Jaiko, don't make me think you're an SJW.
Unless he's just trolling.
He has to be trolling.
Yeah,
There's no way
trolling.
Jaiko's an SJW.
Yeah.
Here's a really good one for the SJWs. How about this? So you may think that we were pointing fingers at the esteemed Meep. We were not, because of the cultures on screen that you see before you that have used weapons of mass destruction in theater of war to terrorize other countries. Well, we win that distinction. I
wasn't even talking about history. Not even talking about history. We didn't bring that up at all.
No,
I was just talking about SJW haircuts. And the fact that Ben Shapiro is a very... I was talking about SJW haircuts and the fact that Ben Shapiro is a harmless individual who talks conservative talks, and that he isn't somebody who you should ban, or isn't somebody who you should not listen to, or something like that, or you should throw a riot to. Maybe I won't mention the name again. You know, it's not like oh, I can mention the KKK, right? Coming to your campus, and then you can throw a riot. Go throw a riot if they do that, right? But if I mention something that happened 80 years ago in the past, well, what about Harry Truman? Billionaires that drop bombs on Japanese cities? I can't talk about that either. Or can I talk about that, but I can't talk about the German thing? Why is that? I don't know. Maybe, like, are you perpetuating some kind of narrative against that? I don't know. But I don't like it. But I was just talking about Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's absolutely harmless. You know, I mean, like, people don't want to allow him to speak. Why? Because he might make sense.
The fact that we have a debate whether someone's being banned for the speech that they say, we got some problems, man.
Yeah, we sure do.
Yeah.
You know, we got some serious, deep.
So I apologize. I do apologize. I don't mean to bring up anything.
Let
like
alone
that.
In our country. Let alone in the world.
I was using a comparison of how somebody is such a mundane human, you know, that why would you throw a riot just because this guy's coming with a freaking yarmulke on, you know, I mean, you're going to throw chairs at windows and have to have police everywhere.
That is pretty nuts that is happening over people having differences of opinion as opposed to being able to resolve it using the tools already, right? It's like, okay, well, gosh darn it, this is a First Amendment problem. We don't want you to talk. Well, why don't you just use your First Amendment and tell us you don't like the ideas? It's really that easy.
Fine. You have that right to do that. But as soon as you start saying we need to ban this or that, you're going down a dangerous road.
Sorry, I want to say something. No, you don't have to say sorry. It's good that you mentioned this, because this offers us quite a good chance to show the good bridges we actually can make. And I think one good thing in the cryptosphere is that many nations and different kinds of people are coming together.
Yeah.
Because we all have one problem, and that is greed. So,
You're right.
no, the
right
cryptosphere,
at the center of it all.
and the cryptosphere and all the problems we got in the cryptosphere are bringing us together. And yes, actually, I can say for me as German, it was and it is quite interesting to have these contacts, and for the other side as well. But one thing helps most, and that is to have humor, to not take it serious and stick too hard on it. It's not so important. We are just making fun here.
Well, and that's just it. I think
people have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
More.
I think also, especially in the United States, recognizing some of the cultural influences that shaped the society that we live in today. If we live stateside, and to some extent Canadians as well, but North Americans, in part, some of the cultural influences that shaped the way we behave now are, like Meep, you're saying, we have a lot of German influence, up to and including our language. This is not a Latin-based language. Let's be clear. We stole English from the Germans.
Yeah,
and then
words like kindergarten or Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, beyond the words, like even just some of the basic grammatical structure. Like we started adding Latin to English sometime in the Victorian era to start legitimizing our language and culture. And then we took, I'd like to think that when we kicked our imperialist overlords out of this country, we tried to retain a sense of humor. So we have some influences from both.
Yeah, I mean, even a lot of last names, like my last name is insanely German. A lot of people's last names kind of got like, even from Germany, like got. So like when everybody like immigrated over in the 1910s, 1920s kind of deal, like when your great grandparents kind of came, they had really German names, really foreign names, but they ended up getting Americanized because they would pronounce them like with an English. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people in America with the last name of Weiss, but it should be like Weiss, like White. Or like there's a lot of people with Schwartz, and stuff like that, and Braun, that people just pronounce differently, or they just straight up switched it to Brown. My last name is Brown, and just stuff like that. My great grandparents came from Germany. They used to speak like, I remember going to their house when I was like 4 or 5, and I didn't know them any past that, and they were just all German. They just speak German, and they'd like drink lager off their like German floor. Like they didn't like off their basement floor. They didn't put it in their refrigerator or anything. Like they were mad German, Like I used to like my like when Christmas would come around when I was a kid, I hid a pickle in my Christmas tree.
Yep.
Is that a metaphor? I'm worried. Do I need to?
No, that's a thing. Okay. We do it too.
So I'm just saying, I don't mean to bring up anything bad when it's. I just got.
What's the meaning behind? What do you know? What the lore is behind that Christmas pickle?
Christmas pickle?
That deserves an entire episode itself. Ah, yes, the tale of the Christmas pickle.
You get a Christmas pickle ornament.
We're bringing Christopher Walken in on this one. Guys,
the kids hide it.
Why do you put your pickle in the tree on Christmas Eve?
It's basically like a good luck charm, basically.
Yeah, you have to find it, and the kids
find it.
Yeah,
whoever finds it. It's good luck for the year.
So that makes way more sense than leaving candy out, because if you want ants, that's how you get ants. But a Christmas pickle makes a lot of sense. I'm starting to see
it's not an actual real pickle.
It's a dill one.
it's an ornament that looks like a pickle.
I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. So it's like King's Day, where you bake the the baby Jesus into the cake.
Yes, exactly.
Got it. It's just plastic.
We got off crypto real fast with that
one. Well, I think we already talked about politics. We needed to somehow forcefully slap someone in the audience over the face with religion. So, otherwise,
and then the whole different nations things too. We're all just men. I
know.
It's just
unfortunate that we've come.
When you're in the military, it's just. You're just a dude, like who cares? I don't know. We shouldn't even be so upset at, and then people.
What is the saying? God made men, Samuel Colt made him equal. There's an American.
Do you think that some of it is the loss of a common goal as a society?
When did you ever have a common goal as a society?
I don't think.
I think through time we've had some common goals,
such as
World War II.
What?
The space race.
World War II actually was not our common goal.
Yeah, within a country, we were all working together to support the war effort. Am I wrong?
I'm not sure. After just
No.
the last thing that
No.
apparently people are getting angry about, if we should talk about that. But what I want to say, it's a lot, really, very, very complicated. And the U.S. never wanted to get into World War I or World War II.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
but
was
once we were
reactionary.
in it, I mean,
So
don't
that
you
was
think the
definitely not-
society?
Yeah,
joined
but that
together?
was media propaganda, though. That was media propaganda.
Well, true.
Just like that makes you. No, I don't know.
I would say
Okay.
maybe it was without alternatives, but after that, if I think about Vietnam, there was never a union America that acted together.
No.
Right.
There's-
No, I'm not talking
like-
about that.
No,
one.
that one, I think
know.
that's the clearest one out of them all. So many Americans were treated like garbage when they came back, especially vets. They were treated like garbage when they came back, as if it was their fault for following orders.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that clearly shows you that we were divided on whether
That was
or not
really
we should
just
be involved.
that's what I'm trying to get at, though. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that like the average person and man, woman, don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck what religion lives next to you or who lives next to you. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody cares. Right? It's kind of like the government perpetuating things. You know, like Vietnam had nothing to do with America. But what it did have to do with is the expansion of communism, which we wanted to stop. Because if it was Vietnam, what was next? Cambodia, Laos, you know, and the rest.
Yeah, but in trying to eradicate, like in trying to chase away great evil, we actually created more. I mean, we haven't had good wars since then, right? Like
No. We absolutely won. We absolutely won. The Soviet Union collapsed. We won. It worked.
Okay.
No, it
True.
worked. Whether you think it did or not, it worked. We stopped
The
communism.
long game.
I
The long
disagree.
game.
I totally disagree.
No, the Cold War was at its peak at the end. It was at its peak. If anything, what we did was we poked the
Capitalism
bear.
won.
We poked the bear really well.
I don't know what historical timeline.
Venom.
You know, you went through a portal and just appeared in this one. Capitalism, communism won, and we would disguise it as like helping the people. Like, for example, Korea in the Korean War, which everybody just forgot about. But I urge you all to watch a documentary on the Korean War. It's actually quite interesting.
It is very interesting.
North Korea just went, we're gonna take over South Korea now. Both of them had dictators. Even the capitalist South, he had a dictator. North had a dictator. They're both evil schmucks, right? But the Soviet Union was like, here's a bunch of stuff, go, a bunch of T-34 tanks, crap, and then we stopped that, and it made a half line. You know what I mean? Like, we essentially didn't complete the war. But it halved South Korea and North Korea, so we stopped the expansion of communism there. Vietnam, we stopped the expansion of communism. Eventually, we left, and then they took over, but then it died off. So we stressed them from resources. Afghanistan.
Yeah, maybe we did, but maybe it was about like polio. Maybe it was already in decline. Maybe it was already in decline. So
I think with communism, though, I think
sometimes we confuse the means with the we confuse our intervention with causality, and I think that Rudy Giuliani made that mistake in New York. That's why what he did, his interventionist policies didn't work in Mexico, for example. I don't know that in Vietnam we really have clear causal data. I don't think we really have a clear way to say, like, yeah, we left this place better than we found it. We're like the Boy Scouts of America.
No, that's not the case. That's not the case, because we left, and then the VC took over all of Vietnam after we left, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, you could say that we won or lost that. But what we did do is stress their resources, and communism's resources aren't so good. They keep having to expand to get more and more. So as we took them out, the last straw was the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. The Soviets were like, "Here, Mujahideen, we're coming on in because we're gonna expand here." And so we were like, "Here, Mujahideen, here's all kinds of Stinger missiles and all kinds of stuff," and they wiped the floor with them.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot. It
That
turned
was
out
the
really
final
well
blow.
for us, didn't it? There was no blowback.
10 years
there.
later,
no
they
unforeseen
fell.
consequences. Yeah. That was good.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
no
nice.
no
Yeah,
unforeseen
America.
consequences with the
We haven't gotten to that
Mujahideen.
part.
I
I
know.
gotta say,
They just
this
gave all
is
the
a
weapons
good
back
conversation.
afterwards.
Yeah.
We
we
talk about
stress,
this idea of socialism, right? I just, or communism. I mean, right now we're dealing with more and more of the idea of socialism, right? Especially in the U.S. And one of the things that I came across was an article that is linking the recent pump in Bitcoin to AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's talks about this new Green Deal. which is entirely socialist in structure. Everything that it seeks to accomplish is
Ocasio-Cortez is kind of dumb. You ever listen to that woman?
Well, are you kidding?
well,
she's wearing glasses in that clip. Her apparent IQ has been raised by like 15 points.
No. But I just want to point this out because I came across this article, and one of the people who are weighing in on this basically says the easiest way to pump Bitcoin is to tell the world's billionaires you want to take their money. So. And I don't think that there's a direct correlation necessarily with like some of the ideas that are just floating about this new Green Deal right now and the recent, investment. I just think that's the typical manipulation that we've been seeing all along with the price of Bitcoin.
I'm going to clap back to you there, Goose, and say it's not our fault she's so woke.
Yeah, man. Ocasio's woke, real woke, yeah. Dude, man, she says.
I just figured, I would kind of try and roll the politics back into Bitcoin there a little bit.
Yeah.
And, just kind of keep us on track. It is a crypto podcast, but these are major issues that need to be evaluated and considered when we're talking about world currencies. And I think that Meep makes the most important connection there, the fact that we have countries, people from all over the world that are all working together in some way on this massive project.
For sure. Yeah, there's no country borders when it comes to Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might have a Russian interested in Bitcoin. You might have an American interested in Bitcoin. Somebody from Peru, somebody from South Africa. It doesn't matter when it comes to Bitcoin. You know what I mean? It's a universal thing.
We are seeing.
Yeah, and you know what's great? We have a small community here today or tonight or whatever time it is. But we have several countries connected, like Germany, Bulgaria, Russia, I think, America, Canada. So that's just
there's tons of people. Yeah, there's tons of different people from all over watching this right now.
Yeah. Maybe some of you just post your country in the chat. It would be nice to see.
Yeah, that would be cool to see. Actually.
Yeah, fly some flags.
Really cool to see.
I can tell you here, we've already got Serbia here, and. Serbia and then we've got the Hawaiian Islands. Does that count as an in-between country?
They are on their own islands.
They're literally an island.
Yeah, I think Puerto Rico doesn't count. Annexes don't count. We've sort of erased
protectorates.
So here's a good question, I think, you guys. What is it that crypto really needs? What is it that we're missing? And why is it? I mean, is it just a matter of trial and error to find a currency that works?
Yeah, gosh darn it! I'm glad you asked because I think the thing it's missing is the ability to easily buy coffee.
Yeah.
All right.
Simplicity.
Simplicity.
So you know what?
Buy coffee.
Well, and I think volatility is an issue too.
Volatility.
Yeah, here's something very interesting. The Starbucks app is the #1 used app to buy coffee.
Sure.
Well,
I suppose
that functions essentially the way Bitcoin should function.
Maybe at point of sale. Maybe at point of sale it does. It's kind of supposed to, but here's the thing: it's also a helicopter freebie from Starbucks because when you buy your credits in bulk, they give you a discount, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like saying, I don't disagree with you. Goose. I think that you're right. Like, we can draw some real inspiration from what they're doing in the same way that, like, contactless payments, right? Apple Pay, and before them, they had to rebrand, but ISIS Mobile Wallet, as well as others. Like, there were pilots for this sort of thing, and farther north in North America, Bluetooth payments using feature phones, right? Like little Nokias, early 310s. Yeah. Like, this has been around for forever. Point of sale doesn't need to change. And simplicity needs to pretty much stay the same. Like, nobody gives a crap what funds your account, as long as the funds go through and you can get a bag of peanuts from a vending machine.
So I think, like, there's an inherent problem in crypto that kind of needs to be corrected a little bit. And I think that problem, one of them, I think that the core of it is definitely ease of use, and especially buying it. Like, buying it is a hassle for a lot of people, in my opinion. At least they just don't know how to buy it easily. But I think one of the inherent problems in crypto is why use crypto? other than for like, of course, the obvious things like cross-border payments and etc. But like, why buy a cup of coffee in crypto? And I think that only affects miners, their ability to use it very well, because you're generating the currency and then you can go out and spend it. But anybody that doesn't already have crypto has very low incentive from what I've seen, which I'd love to be proven wrong. I mean, it's a great conversation. From what I've seen, there's very, very low incentive for me to go onto an exchange, buy crypto, figure out how to make a wallet, then put the wallet on there, and then go out and spend my crypto, when I could have just pulled out my debit card the whole time. If I had $100 on my bank account that I could have bought crypto with, why not just use that $100 at a store to buy my groceries, to buy my gas, etc.? That's a major problem, in that, like, why do I have to go through all these steps to use crypto and possibly pay more fees along the way in order to just spend what I could have already spent with what's in my pocket?
Yeah,
The problem will solve.
You might be seeing this, but I'm flashing my shift card over here on this this side of my stream.
I see. I got you there.
It's
here.
Why
load the shift card
when I already have my debit card?
When you already have your debit card, that's the question. And you're a miner. Yeah. You're a miner, so you're loading your own coin onto that shift card.
Yes.
But not everybody mines.
Very small amount.
So if you didn't have any crypto on that card, what incentive would you have to put crypto on that card, then go out and use the card, whereas you already have a debit card in your wallet or a credit card?
I'll give you another use case. You already mentioned it. So cross-border payments. So
of course.
Yeah. So I went to World CryptoCon. Guys, it's not like this big disclosure, but at World CryptoCon, one of my co-sponsors was BitTube. They're incorporated in Berlin. I don't want to deal with a wire transfer from a bank at Berlin, and they didn't either. But because we were able to use a custodial account, and because it was a business transaction that was of a certain amount, like, I am interested in making sure that my books are clean and that their books are clean for that sort of a transaction, and that there's no question about cost basis, when the transfer was made and everything else. But expenses were just easier to deal with when they did that. Like, there was one fee for that Bitcoin transaction, and it went precisely to the debit account or that shift card. So when I was on site, it was like, convenience. But as you said, like, I still like you could say I generated that crypto, not by mining, but I generated that crypto through some kind of relationship, through a bounty. But that's another use case where you have somebody that just needs to get funds to you fast. Another use case.
That's true.
Quick shout out to Mining for Vets. Nice guy. I really think he means well. Fell on hard times. Right straight out of the gate, he was trying to get started with his charity mining organization, straight out of the gate. And then he hit up one of the local communities about things are tough, just lost my job. In situations like that, the most immediate pressing need for families who are experiencing duress is groceries and typically utility bills, not even necessarily rent, because you usually can negotiate that sort of thing. But groceries and utility bills, to make sure that lights and utilities don't get cut off. How do you transfer funds quickly? How do you raise charity funds across international borders, like you said, fast? There really isn't a better way to do that than some form of crypto. And when you have a debit card, an account, custodial account that you set up for that family or for whatever that organization is, you've got full transparency regarding the funds that have been given to that family, and they go to them.
There's something to that. I don't know why. That I just did a video on Bible Pay, which is a cryptocurrency that does just that. I mean, obviously, it doesn't have the same popularity as Bitcoin or any of the big ones that could accomplish the same exact thing. But it's a niche kind of coin that does that wants to really focus on making sure that charity is not only fast, efficient, and transparent, but also that it really has an impact. That's the main thing. Is obviously somebody needs food, you need to make sure they get fed. Somebody needs clothing, shelter, whatever. I mean, you got to have the basics, and that kind of outreach I've always found very interesting. I'm only covering those coins, by the way, because that's what's listed on MCT. But
I think another thing
interesting
with crypto that is useful is like, just the mom and pop kind of store, so that you can kind of get away from the whole Visa thing. But Again, that's hard to do without mass adoption first, because if you got a mom and pop store and you're like, no, I don't accept Visa, you know what I mean? I only accept either money or crypto, and it's good luck with that. You know what I mean?
Well, come on, ouch! You're hitting below the belt. I accept money or crypto. Come on now.
I don't think people would take both.
Maybe
there was a time when they didn't take Visa.
Maybe the problems will solve themselves when the existing monetary system falls. Maybe it's not just a time for a cryptocurrency.
If the existing monetary system falls apart, though, everything else is going to fall apart around it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not,
maybe
your ability to...
Wait. Maybe not talking about the total crash, but maybe talking about countries like Venezuela. This is a use case for me.
Yeah, sure. Here's the thing. I'm interested in with Venezuela, because Venezuela. Okay, so you take your bolivars, which are so insanely highly super inflated, and you buy Bitcoin, right, at $3,500, and then it goes down to $3,300. Now you've lost even more. You've lost even more than your bolivars at an inflated rate at this point. So, and like, you know, how is that helping anybody by switching their hyperinflated coin to Bitcoin? And so with your hyperinflated coin, you put so much of your money into it, and you get a certain amount of Bitcoin. You get $10 total in Bitcoin for your 20 trillion bolivars, but you still have the same amount. You still have the same amount in Bitcoin, and it's only if it goes up does it help you. And that's not necessarily guaranteed.
I think you're talking about like socioeconomic upward mobility. It helps you in that way. Like socioeconomic standing, it helps you in that way. But so to run with that ball real fast, Sotko, on Venezuela, got a buddy who's a mid-scale miner. He does mid-scale mining. Who's originally from Venezuela and has contacts in Venezuela who mine, and others who are just interested in using crypto. So I get an earful about Venezuela every so often we chat. And one of the use cases that I'm hearing is that you have, it's not necessarily that it's a stable stable store of value as much as it is a far easier to preserve store of value for them.
Yeah, right. Because if you put your money into it and then your bolivar hyperinflates even more, your Bitcoin did not. Right. So I get it. I get that.
But beyond that, I mean, like, you can have a hardware wallet, and let's be clear, there's nothing quite like the NSA anywhere in South America, anywhere. Right. So there are no authorities in Venezuela that are like, we've been tracking all this traffic over here. So if you want to use coin tumblers, or if you want to use Tor, you want to use even the most rudimentary cryptography in Venezuela, you're probably covered. You're probably fine.
Yeah,
so,
I bet, but in terms of the NSA is not in Venezuela. I highly doubt that.
No, I'm talking about
they're now
they
the most
don't have the
oil-rich.
equivalent. They don't have the equivalent.
Oh well, the
of
Venezuelans don't. Okay, yeah,
right.
Okay,
yeah, so,
I'll go with that, but I couldn't really say, but yeah, I'll agree with it.
You're not going to have somebody who's like, well, we understand that you did some kind of transfer, you did an OTC trade, and you didn't buy the crypto Petro. Off to the gulag with you.
Right? Yeah. No, I get it.
Guys, we should come to an end. Maybe.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
It's been quite a while. The other guy is Seth Estrada. He has own YouTube channel, and he's on Twitch also. You can subscribe to his channel.
Yeah,
who is the another guest? I don't know him. Well, we have in the top left, we have Goose-Tech. We got Meep in the middle. Seth Estrada above me. He has a YouTube channel, just Seth Estrada. And then bottom left is Dr. Platypus, my mining buddy and gaming friend. He's got a YouTube and a Twitch as well. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but that's everybody. No, so I get it. It's a good store of value, and yeah, they probably don't have the equivalent of the NSA in Venezuela. I thought you were saying the Venezuela never has been monitored by the NSA, and I'm like, that's probably, because they yeah, jeez.
Yeah, does.
But well, we only got a little bit out of hand here, and I think the whole thing just froze. Yep, I think our whole conversation just froze. Wow. So that's it, guys. I'm going to probably call it there. Everybody just froze, literally, at this exact time. So Are we trying to reconnect here? We're trying to reconnect.
Ah!
One. So we lost everybody for a second there. I'm not sure what just happened, but yeah, it is about time to call it. We got a little off track of crypto there. Little off track of crypto. But oh well.
Come on, this matters. You got to know why. You got to know why you're doing something, frankly, right? So if you don't know why you're doing something, like then what the heck? What's the point in continuing, right? Like there are countries in the world like you brought up that for whom this could very well play out to be a life or death situation.
Yeah, exactly.
With crypto for people who understand how to adopt it.
Well. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably call it there. So again, guys, yeah, Seth Estrada, go over to his channel, give him a follow. A lot of good stuff over there. Goose-Tech hasn't come back with us, but again, you guys can just Google Goose-Tech. I'm gonna have everybody's social media in the description. I'll put Seth Estrada's YouTube link in the description of this video. So if you guys want to check it out later, or head on over. But I appreciate you guys coming.
No, hey, always a pleasure, man. If I can do my hype man deal before I go, anybody who hasn't
absolutely, you can hype whatever, man.
Smashed der Likens und done the power chat super button with the dono. You know, yeah, do the thing.
Yeah, I got
the monies.
I got nothing like that so far, but that's okay.
What?
Well, this show isn't really about donations, because I feel like if I did get even like a reasonable amount of donations, then I feel like I would owe it to everybody on the show. You know what I mean? Because like without them, I would just be like a crazy guy talking to everybody on a live stream. So, don't worry about donations for this one. You can wait for my gaming live streams, and then you can give me donations. I didn't say it. I'm just kidding. Anyway, yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. My wife is like perpetually trying to call me right now. So.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was very funny, and I hope we see us next Friday.
Yeah, next Friday. Like I said, I have a schedule to work out, but I should be able to. I should be able to do it just fine. I'll work it out.
Life.
But yeah, guys, check it out next Friday. We'll do this again. And anybody else that wants to come onto the show, just come on in, I guess.
All right.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Good talk to y'all.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Yeah, see you.
Hey, fellas.
Thank